Welcome back, brothers, to yet another show here on the O'Shea Blogcast channel. I am your host, O'Shea Duke Jackson. Let me first of all apologize because this was a show that we were supposed to do like 37 years ago. This video already has like 70 or 80 likes because people were waiting on the video to drop at a certain time. Of course, because I am a Negro. I did not ever do the video, but because we want to get back on track with the nightly shows, and I was gone for about a week, and on this channel, guys, they're looking for a show or podcast, on the nightly. So we're bringing that back, and I did send a link to AM1. It's an open forum tonight if you guys want to come in. Let me first of all start off by introducing the topic. Is the hip hop industry worse than white supremacy? I want to welcome in. You guys know LARMOVEMENT. He lives here on the O'Shea Vlogcast channel. I put his name in the title for views. Okay. And then we have the Honorable Reverend Dr. Long-Winded Edward Anderson of the Mount Keep Talking All the Time Missionary Baptist Church. So I want to welcome him to the podcast tonight. Let's start off by introducing, man, LARMOVEMENT. What's going on with your brother?
Nothing, man. Let's get to it.
Let's get to it. Okay. And then Edward, what's going on with your player?
As usual, got a lot to say. So I'm really ready to talk about this particular topic because Negroes going to get triggered. So disclaimer.
Okay. Disclaimer. So y'all gonna get triggered. Okay. Let's just kind of, we're going to get to it real quick. It's good to see you guys, man. I know I've been kind of slacking on the shows and shit like that, man. So I'm getting back in the swing of things. So we'll be back. Moderator awards coming this month, man. I'll have the poll up in the next 48 hours. Let's kind of start with this, man. I was talking to LARMOVEMENT. I was in Johannesburg. We were talking a little bit more about this Pusha T Drake situation. We're trying to get into that. Oh, man, tomorrow wants to know a link. Okay, my bad. So let me kind of start off with you, man. Like, somebody made a statement. I don't know who it was, that hip hop is actually worse than white supremacy. And it is a pejorative thing for blacks. Obviously, it's something that black African American culture created. It started off as a fun thing, but now it kind of has turned into something else. So, what's your takes on that, man? Do you think that this whole hip hop situation is bad for blacks? Is bad for white supremacy? What's your point on that?
Okay, first, the way they said it, no. Hip hop is a bunch of different things.
Okay.
Gangster rap genre in specific, that is a very much so an aid to white supremacy. Because we try to lump everything at hip hop in the gangster rap mold, but that particular part of it, I'm a drug dealer, I'm a pimp, I kill folks, I sell dope to the community. Yes, I shot your mama last Thursday. What you gonna do about it? And as long as I put it to a good beat, you gonna dance to it and let your kids sing the song. That's a problem. That's a major problem. And all of the things that go around it for, I'm getting tattoos to look intimidating. Like, being a thug has a uniform now that started through gangster rap.
Okay.
Like, people actually, do this now. Like, okay, if I get tattooed up and I wear a certain hairstyle and I wear certain clothes, all of a sudden, I'm public enemy number one. And I think it's ridiculous. I think what we look at as even the way we view music as fans of it. Rap right now is the only genre of music I can think of when people say, like, let me just say this and shut up. Could you imagine Luther Vandross coming up, well, I'm a balladeer. Well, did you sell any girl? No, I did not. What kind of car you drive? Oh, I drive a Ford Focus. Are you a pimp? No, I'm not. Well, you can't be an R&B singer.
Okay.
Like, that's what we're at when it comes to rap. How much money you got? Is it about an art form? Is it about how destructive you are to black people?
Okay.
So I'm gonna shut up, man. I was Reverend Long-Winded Jr. just now.
Okay. Now you brought up some good points, man. And so, man, tomorrow I'll send you the link. Let's go ahead and hear the brother. We got Man tomorrow here. Let's go to brother Edward, and we're gonna go to Man tomorrow. Go ahead, brother Edward. Let's go ahead and
Well,
get into this.
well, hopefully I don't say this. What's up, brothers? First of all, and second of all, I hope I don't say the same things that LAR said because I was in the house trying to get some Kool-Aid. So
niggas, go ahead.
sorry, trying to hurry up before I had to speak. So anyway, hip hop music has always had a political aspect to it. That's what one of the souls of hip hop was. And the reality of the situation is now hip hop is served as a form of cultural hypnosis, where the corporations or the media it's basically able, they flipped it. It didn't start out this way, but it is this way now. It's been this way for a while, where they will flip it and make it so they could put anything in there. They could put homosexuality in there. They could put violence in there. They could put anything in there. And then you got fools behind a good beat that's actually going to beat to that. And what you've seen over time is you're literally has seen people adopt that. You got people that's more organized around hip hop than they're organized around building or survival. Because folks will have, they'll listen to hip hop before they'll even have their own basic needs met. And they identify with a culture that's so identified with black people. You can't be a real African American and not be associated with hip hop. It's pretty much like it's the new black church. And it's been the new black church. And, I'm not going to go too long about that. That obviously, if the short answer is it worse than white supremacy? I would say no, but no with a caveat. If you can't control your own culture, when I say control, if you can't master your own culture, meaning you're not a product of your culture, but your culture is a product of you, then you can never compete with other groups. And so I would say, even though I wouldn't say it's as bad as white supremacy, because ultimately all that stuff is driven by white supremacy, I would say it's the type of thing that you would need to master first before you're ever able to tackle white supremacy.
Okay. All right. And shout out to E-Rockus for the $10 super chat. Thank you so much, brother. I see Dr. Dick and Eric P, brother Maurice in the chat. Good to see you moderators in here. And this is Moderator Award Month, right, for all the moderators. I want to thank all you guys for the work you've been doing. Let's go to Man of Tomorrow, Professor Man of Tomorrow. What's going on with your player?
Oh, what's going on, man?
Just trying to be like you when I grow up, man. I'm still a broke nigga, but I'm saving my pennies, dog. I'm coming for your ass, nigga.
I'm telling you, man. You could be there, man. You're almost there.
Just need about 4-5 more minutes. That's all. All
right. So, well, I'm 39, and the hip hop that I grew up listening to was, of course, Ghetto Boys, NWA, that type of stuff. And it's just like, what was different was that there was a lot more male leadership around. So there was no kind of unconscious ear of not having leadership around when you listen to that type of music. Like, of course, generation later, there is no supervision of these kids when they listen to this. And there is nobody who tells them, like, okay, me growing up, crisscross and all that kind of shit. The moment I came home with my pants off backwards, man, my dad beat the shit out of me. He was like, so he was like, where exactly did you get that from? Because that ain't nothing what we taught in this house. So, I went over to the video and I'm like, hey, so this is what we're doing right now. He was like, that's what they're doing right now. That's a show. You live in this house, and that's how it was. You had male leadership around telling you, okay, yeah. Take the fun aspect away from what you're listening to. Don't embody the shit that you see on TV. And once you keep going from that, there's less and less male leadership. There's less and less people who is giving a critical eye to what people are actually listening to. And now you just have people just practicing the shit that they see on TV. And that's how come it became a bigger threat. It didn't start off as a bigger threat. I mean, it's just another form of advertisement for different brands of cars and alcohol that people can't purchase, but it's somehow popular. You know, so
And that last part again, man, that was pretty good.
that's like it has become an advertisement model for alcohol and cars that people can't purchase, but they somehow idolize for some reason.
Okay.
That's what it turned into.
Let me shout out to brother Michael Walker, man. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Again, guys, get the likes up on the video. I know this video, we were supposed to do this a long time ago, which is probably why YouTube is not sending out so many notifications on the video, because we actually did it about like a week and a half ago. It's my fault. But let me go back to LAR movement. Let's talk about this culture. And I want to address this when it comes to, to women, right? Before hip hop, when we used to hear African American music towards African American women, I guess if you want to say, Marvin Gaye, Temptations, Prince, Michael Jackson, it was always the music was never pejorative towards African American women. Hip hop, and as far as let's say, when gangster rap comes, we hear a new side of the story about Black women from the minds of, let's say Eazy-E, Dr. Dre, Snoop, stuff like that. And then also as hip hop or rap music, which is, I guess rap music, as it started to evolve, we started to hear more pejorative things towards African American women. And then obviously we start seeing, more of the twerking, more of the, treat these women like however. Do you think that hip hop has actually destroyed African American women's femininity and separated, let's say, the gap between Black men and young Black women as far as relationship status because of the influence of hip hop with young Black African American men? Do you think that holds any weight in while this gender war is going on right now?
To a degree, yeah. Because even the groups you talked about, there was a particular time where they were still in that same pocket of hip hop, like from the 80s to the mid 90s. Because one of the things that I think we do as a community, we romanticize the fuckery that hip hop brought in the 90s. And we marginalize the other acts that weren't like that. Because at the same time, Arrested Development wasn't talking like that.
Okay.
Digital Underground, more, playful, stuff like that. Far Side, Diggable Planets. Like, we don't talk about groups like that because they didn't say nigga and bitch enough. Problem. So, people we have to take credit for is the fact that we actually gravitated to the most disrespectful music.
Mm-hmm.
That was what was fun and entertaining, even though we had other artists that were able to who were still in that pocket of actually being entertaining and a little bit more respectful. Like Heavy D don't get credit.
Right.
And at the same time, to a degree, you're absolutely right, because people forget, because a lot of people say they listen to hip hop, but they forget how much of an issue it was for LL Cool J to come out with I Need Love. That was like sacrilegious for a rapper to do. But you fast forward, people also forget about songs like Temptations or Can You Get Away or Do For Love by Tupac.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
They remember California Love and all that other shit, but they don't remember those type of songs.
Okay.
So it's, with Eazy-E, you do Eazy-E, Too Live Crew, Too Short, too many motherfuckers saying a lot of shit. Those are the people we like the most.
Okay.
So it influenced us, because what we don't want to say about hip right now, as far as our generation, that's probably 35 and up, a lot of us, maybe I'll say from 30 to 45, a lot of us don't want to admit we was them freaknik motherfuckers. Now we grown and acting brand new. That's true. Like a lot of us don't want to admit we was a Freaknik, Cabot Beach party, Black Bike Week. We are totally disrespectful to ourselves and others. We still got pictures of having sex with your mama on 285 to that soundtrack. Okay, I'm wrong. I'm long-winded. I quit.
All right, let's go to shout out to that Draco man for the collard green fun, brother. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Let's go to brother Edward. Edward, what you got to say on this, man?
Hip hop taught. When I say hip hop, a key year that I always talk about in hip hop is 1992. That's kind of like the before Christ and after death. That's when you really saw like gangster rap really rev up. And I think you could trace a lot of the negative stuff and the change to hip hop going all the way back to that point. So I always talk about 1992. So basically, hip hop taught our women to think of themselves as bitches and hoes. Hip hop taught our women to love themselves as bitches and hoes. And quite frankly, hip hop taught our women to view anything that doesn't have that narrative as abnormal. So if a man comes at them with a "I need love" type of thing, she looking at him like nowadays, like they weak. Like
say that again. Say that again.
When a man comes at a woman with a "I need love" or a chivalry type of thing, or just coming at a woman correct, our women are looking at our men like it's something wrong with them. Like, shout out to Glendon Cameron of Disruptive Male. One of the things he did a video stating how to date black women in 2018, in which it's a very good tactical video. It doesn't really have any commentary on black women. It's just tactically, this is what it is. This is a 51-year-old guy, mind you. And he says you have to be a lot more exaggerated and aggressive as to how you approach black women versus if you pull that shit on non-black women or white women in particular, that's going to shoo them off. Like, I'm talking about the average white woman, not the ace of spades white woman. Okay. And a lot of that comes from hip hop because you have to, that hyper masculinity thing. And the one thing, now I'll save this for later on, but that's the main point I want to really have. I think people don't underestimate the mind control, especially when you grew up in it too. Oh, this is what I was going to say. The one thing I would say too is you got to understand too is even though I say hip hop, we talk about hip hop culture, most black people don't really know what hip hop culture is. If you ask like kids today or people that's like even 30 or I'd say 20, I'd say 18 to like 28, they're not going to be able to tell you historical groups or tell you different eras, this obscure stuff. Like, folks can tell you about comic books and stuff like that. They're just going with what's being played on the local radio station. And, most of the worst hip hop is actually on mainstream media. So anyway.
Okay. No, good points. And I'm going to answer questions. So is AM1 on here now? What up, AM1? And Aaron, Aaron Ferris, bro. If you more than welcome to get on if you want, man. Shout out to my brother AM1. I know he over there in the back, like, yo, I'm ready to go, nigga. Ready to go. Shout out to him. Let's go to Man of Tomorrow, man. Man of Tomorrow, you want to go ahead and weigh on that, brother?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's kind of where it started. I mean, 1992 is, a big year. I mean, like that whole stretch between 92 and kind of 98 really is what kind of changed a lot of stuff. But, yeah, I mean, because, even like growing up and like, because 1992 was like the first year I was in high school. I was in 9th grade in 92. So that's when it kind of popped off, like, all the girls was kind of one way. But once that music started getting into their head, along with that not having real supervision from actual women, it's kind of like a mixture of both. I mean, because, maybe some of these people didn't have, the supervision, but that music did not help. I mean, the music became the mother. It became the parent because that's what they were listening to far more than their parents were, And so that's when it kind of changed. So I do agree. That is when it kind of changed for women. So
okay, 92.
I just want to put this quick thing in there.
Yeah,
They're raising the kids on the music. So the music is actually the pastor.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that, how hip hop infiltrated the church too, man, because that actually did happen. Let me do this real quick. And shout out to Donovan Sharp, called me right now on the Facebook. He didn't know I was on. But let's go to AM1. I know he's been waiting to get on and talk about this. AM1, man, welcome back. I know you was ready on the first time with the show, but what do you think about what we've been talking about so far?
You know, my bad, y'all. Peace to the brothers on the panel and the whole chat room. I'm a little bit late getting on, so I'm at a loss for what you guys covered. When I popped in, you guys was already at it, dropping gems and speaking straight facts. I grew up with hip hop, big hip hop dude, but I'm a grown ass man now, and hip hop should have grown up like the folks that were born with it. You know what I'm saying? Who came up with it, and it's not. It's been hijacked. It's been weaponized. It's something I go in on a lot. The kind of work I do here in Oakland, I do a lot of community work. I do a lot of events. I used to MC myself. I'm a big time hip hop dude, freestyle dance, all that shit, pretty much every element except DJing. So I'm a 4 or 5 elements type dude. Like, I come from that real shit. So Edward Anderson said, hip hop is the pastor now. I mean, God, that's a gem right there, because hip hop ultimately could be considered as a religion, a culture. I see it as inherently tied into the Black American experience. With it being hijacked the way it has, the influence it has generated billions of dollars. We have not been able to capitalize on it and win off of it, and it's being turned against us. That's my quick summary, but yeah, I'll go in.
Okay. This is what I want to know from the panel, right? I'm just going to take this from a whim. In the Black community, right? This is what I see. So many niggas are trying to be rappers. And here's what I got to say with that, right? So many niggas, like, it's either the sports thing or the hip hop thing. Like, okay, you got niggas like all the time, man, trying to get this hip hop dream. It's like doing what we're talking about, like Man of Tomorrow, getting into trucking, getting into business, doing something like going to medical school, doing something, anything other than rap. So many niggas are trying to be rappers. How many 45-year-old niggas with 2 braids on a receding hairline have I seen trying to sell me a mixtape outside of Walmart? I mean, everybody's producer, everybody's the CEO of Doodoo Records. You know what I mean? And what I think hip hop has done, especially with the do-it-yourself kind of platform now, because back in the day you have to have like a major distribution deal. Now you can, pretty much sell it yourself and get your own following. Do you think that hip hop or the hip hop industry has set like many Black men up to feel that they can make it in something that's overly saturated? And do you think that if there was no hip hop, we would have actually more Black men actually trying to achieve certain things? Let's say when it comes to education, more careers. Do you guys get what I'm saying when it comes to that? Do you think that more guys are trying to, get into rap music just because they think it's easy, it's achievable?
So you want me to really go in on this?
Go ahead on the LAR. What do you think about that?
Okay. I still dabble in that shit from time to time because it's a hobby too. Here's my problem with this shit. Hip hop at this particular point has not evolved with grown men, as the brother AM once said. I don't want to hear your fucking 40-year-old stories about dealing drugs when you was 22. You can be a singer at any age if you're singing about something that's relatable to people. You should not be a grown man talking about gangster ghetto stories. This is why hip hop has an age limit, because when you see young guys doing it, they're drug dealers or drug addicts. When you see older guys doing it, they're talking about being drug dealers and murderers. And you're asking yourself, don't you fucking have kids? Like, Like I said this before, my younger cousin who's a producer, and he has this major problem. He's been having this major problem for years. He said, man, I can't play none of my shit around my family at a get together because of the dudes that's rapping on. That's a problem. And we as men think that's okay. If you 40-year-old with 45 with two braids and a receding hairline, the fact that you can't even look like a grown fucking man and make music is the problem. So you can be a 40-year-old country singer, a 40-year-old R&B singer, a 40-year-old jazz artist, but you dress and act like a grown-ass man. That's like showing up. I want to be a wide receiver for the Oakland Raiders. I'm 5'11" and 265, and I ain't worked out in 10 years, but I got hands though. Like, it's showing us as having a arrested development, stagnant mentality as men. Because now if somebody says, "Oh, I'm a rapper," you looking at them like, you can't get a job, huh? You didn't go to school, did you? You still living at your mama's house, ain't you? Because when you hear old rap stories, what did you hear? Well, there's nothing else I could do but rob people. If it wasn't for rap would have saved my life. Really? Really? Like you couldn't go to a wood shop or nothing, motherfucker? Like you couldn't get in the military? Like you listen to old, if you're a real hip hop fan, you listen to old stories. Ice-T was in the military. Fresh Prince, Will Smith chose rap, but he was going to MIT. But these other motherfuckers, well, I dropped out of high school because I was getting in fights and I decided to be a drug dealer and I turned that into me being an entrepreneur. No, you bitch ass motherfucker, you was a failure at life and you was dumb as a box of rocks. So all you could do was rap. That's what happened. I'm seeing, I hate to say this about certain, now we got rappers who've been rappers and gangster rappers for 15, 20 years. Now they want to be motherfucking activists. Mm-hmm. You know, the black community needs to come together. We need to come together as one and buy my new album. I'm going to still kill these bitch ass niggas, but I'm woke. No, I'm sorry. Let me shut up, dog. Let me shut up before I say something that hurts somebody's feelings. I quit.
Okay. Let's ask that same question to Edward real quick, and I'll go ahead and announce the super chats, guys. Keep on liking the videos. We'll get to those in a minute. But go ahead, Edward. What's your take on that part?
LAR, it's gonna be hard for me to take that to another level, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take my shot. So first of all, let me say this: rappers are the fucking porn stars of the music industry. They are there to be ran through, and when they are done, they throw them away. Let me say that. They're stupid. They don't know how to get. And the reason why I say the porn star element is, for the most part, they don't know how to access other parts of the industry. You can always tell the type of dudes that, like a Jim Jones or a Damon Dash, that they kind of came into the part of the industry from a different side. Even a Kanye West, as idiotic as he is on social stuff, you can, or even what's the dude's name? I forget his name. I see his face, but I don't see the Dream. You could tell the people that came into the industry from different aspects versus people that all they know how to do is rap and attention whore. And that goes directly to your question. A big part of why these folks rap is because it's the same trap that's the big reason why they sell the drugs. The people start selling drugs because of the money, but they don't keep selling the drugs because of the money. They keep selling the drugs for the attention and a female adulation, because a lot of these guys were raised by females where they believe attention is power. Attention is not power for a man. Attention can be you can do things with attention as a woman, but as a man, attention alone is not power. And you got these dudes trying to relive their 20s and 30s, like LAR said, when they 40s. And they're not doing nothing else. Versus if you notice other rappers, like Ludacris, even Young Jeezy, they moved on to other things. Nelly, they had a run and they stopped. But those are like kind of like the all-stars, the consistent pro bowlers in hip hop. Those are not really the other folks. Now, what was the point I wanted to make? Also, I don't think, these people would do other things if hip hop didn't really exist. They would go back to doing the same dumb shit that gets a lot of black men put in jail anyway. Hip hop is just one little. When I say hip hop, I'm talking specifically about rapping. Like people that had these rapping dreams and stuff like that. They would do stuff like drugs, rob people. They would do that because here's the thing. It's even when you look at things like getting educated or getting wood shop or something like that, the mentality that these guys have is I'm going to do this one thing and this is the only thing I can do. And they never branch off in anything else at all that is more industrious or entrepreneurial based. Like Man Tomorrow talked about how it's advertising. Well, the reality is most black men are not getting into the advertising part of hip hop. They leave that to just the white folks. And that's why they always get done up with the contracts. You got people like Nipsey Hussle and stuff like that. But other than that, that's really it. And also the last thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to end it with this. This is how fucked up black men are. And I'm going to tell you right now, if you in the hip hop game, you should be ashamed of yourself. A sword and put it in your stomach and let yourself bleed out. Like Mr. Research says. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm in digital marketing. And I came across this white guy, really cool white dude. And he was, because I was looking to learn some stuff about Instagram. And he's got a really good product. Not going to mention his name or anything. I'm not trying to promote him. But he was talking about he used Instagram as a way to build his music profile up. So he's very good at advertising music and social media, kind of like in a guerrilla advertising way. This dude has a product. I don't want to say the name of the product, but it's a product that actually teaches you how to rap. And it's a good product. So a white man can realize, oh, I might want to teach some of these dudes how to rap. And the product is actually a good product. Why in the hell is there no black man that's got a product like that? I'm going to end with that.
All right, so let me kind of go ahead and go there. I just sent the link to Aaron. Let's go to AM1, and then we'll go to Man of Tomorrow real quick. AM1, what did you want to weigh in on that part, brother?
Man, I mean, this whole thing is deep on so many levels. Like I said, the culture, the art form, I mean, hip hop in all its elements, but specifically rap, because it does have the vocal element to where you can either tell a story of positivity or negativity, came from some grimy street shit. Of course, we understand that. So that's always going to be a part of it. But at what point do we use this tool to elevate it out of the grimy street shit that helped start it? Here we are 44 years out, and it's been hijacked by people who don't have our best interests in mind. So they are able to reach to the bottom of the barrel, get the dustiest niggas who just want to regurgitate the same shit. Maybe that's all they know because the oppression system is well done. That may be all they know, and that's all they want to talk about. People say shit like, man, I'm just telling my story. I'm just telling my story. I'm like, look, I'm tired of your fucking story. We're tired of hearing your story, and it's being glorified. I think Edward Anderson was alluding to this. It's been co-opted by people who do not have black interests in mind, and they're willing to go grab the dustiest nigga off the corner and say, hey, we about to make you lit. And who's going to turn that down? We got a bag of money sitting on the table. We're going to sign you. And all you got to do is keep doing what you're doing. I mean, that's so dangerous. Who's going to turn that down? While the person who's using the artwork, the art form, the culture to really build culture, open people's minds, take it to another level, they're struggling, fighting to try to just get looks, get on shows. I mean, it's so crazy. And then it's to the point now where it's running through their mainstream media system that hypes the shit out of everything to the point where it's all this glitz and glamour. They're glamorizing the thug, trap, ratchet shit. It's supposed to be street shit, but it's dudes in super tight jeans and like Versace shit with like lacy, flowery looking shit. I'm like, bruh, what is the deal? And then I mean, dude, I'm right here in Oakland, California. I don't know if I know, but there's a pretty big scene as far as musicians, artists, rappers trying to come up and do that thing. Like you said, the dusty ass niggas outside of Walmart, and on every corner damn near somebody's trying to sell you a CD. But there's some dope ass cats out here, but they fighting trying to get it in. It's just mind blowing to me. I have these discussions with people and they really try to say, nah, that's what's really happening on the street. That's what's really the streets want. Trap songs over and over and over, where you could basically listen to the ratchet shit, and it's basically one long ass beat. I used to make beats, I used to MC, so I know exactly what I'm talking about. The whole trap cadence, the whole flow, there's no real musicality to it. There's no real hardcore melodies to it. They're basically saying we're going to take the lowest level form of this black music shit and elevate this sub-genre on top of everything and paint this as the picture of what the culture is all about. And subsequently, the imagery that comes with it. Think about it. Have you guys ever seen the videos with it's a bunch of niggas in a room, shirts off, guns at the screen? Y'all ever seen that shit? Like, I saw a Chief Keef video like that. I mean, this shit is mind-blowing to me. But people want to support that and act like this is really coming up off the streets. But I'm like, hey, do you understand most of the people that consume hip hop, rap shit, which is now overtaking American pop culture, that's what they're seeing. That's a bad look for everybody on this panel, because the people who have the power were under their system. The people working in HR who's hiring people, that's what they're seeing. You see what I'm saying? Like, the rise of the ratchet shit with Cardi B and all that. I'm like, is she getting a job? The ratchet shit is cool. There's a place for that. That shit is just her being herself. I'm like, man, I know plenty of ghetto ass hood rat chicks who's cool as fuck, but they should not be allowed to represent the whole of black women or women of color. Same as with the dusty ass niggas. I'm like, it's a bad look for everybody. Let me get off, because I will get long-winded on this shit.
Okay. Let me do this. Let me get to Man of Tomorrow, and then we'll get to my brother Aaron Ferris real quick. But let's get to MOT. You know what I'm saying? Not MIT, the university, but and I'm a shout out. But before we do that, let me do this real quick. Let me shout out to some of the super chatters, man. I appreciate you, brothers. If you guys remember the MGTOW eunuch dude, he was like the weird guy that was on like right before I left to South Africa. He was saying some real weird ass shit. Who remember him? He's a crazy motherfucker. He was like the weird. Yeah, he was a dude that was like trying to like cut off his dick. But I'm gonna bring him back on. No, he's crazy. He says rap used to be poetic until the certain group of people saw a new industry and pimped it out. Rap has killed so many potential fathers.
Yep.
Hip hop is our Hitler. The chains are the okay, and we cannot read that because they own YouTube. So Philip Moore, I agree 100%. Black men pretend to be rappers. MGTOW unit, you need to sell your soul to be like Jay-Z. Your mortal desperation is key to success, not skill in this rap game. We'll talk about that also. Like, is there like Illuminati with hip hop? Ron Browns, what's up, guys? I miss you guys. $10. Thank you so much. Carl Ware, $2. Thank you so much. The Draco Man, $2. Thank you for all you brothers, man, who are supporting the streams. We're glad to be back. I know I've been back out for about a week and a half, but let's go to Man of Tomorrow. Let him weigh in on whatever they're saying. Where's the bad guy? What's up with your pimpin'? Go ahead. By the way, Where's the bad guy can play the hell out of a guitar. Did y'all niggas know that?
What? Guitar?
Nigga, what? The nigga's like Jimi Hendrix on crack. He have a Where's the Bad Guy music channel. The nigga can play the hell out of the guitar.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that nigga's good too. So let's go to Man of Tomorrow, man. Man of Tomorrow, what's going on?
All right. I'm gonna say two things that are gonna be pretty heavy. The first one. These people from the so-called streets need to understand that taking a long-ass time to do something simple is not the fucking same thing as hard work. It isn't. Writing a poetic song, talking about some goddamn bullshit, that shit can be done by a group of songwriters before fucking lunchtime. Before lunch. All right? And another thing is... coming out with an album or aspiring to be a rapper is the fastest way to put yourself on fucking hold and not accomplish shit else in life. It takes nothing to make a beat now. It takes nothing to write a poem. It takes nothing to put together by yourself without a good producer a CD and try to sell it and hope somebody recognizes you. That takes no effort, period. And waiting for somebody to look at your CD and look at you like, yeah, I can make a whole bunch of millions of dollars off you. They can do it off people that they know. Why the hell would they do it off people that they don't know? Right. Who are not really that good? And there's really no excuse on how you could just put your whole life on hold until this one play works. It's kind of like, you know, you got pocket deuces and there's already somebody who got quads, and They're playing their cards face up, but you gonna play the fucking deuces anyway. Like, come on, man. You gotta play the best play. The best play isn't sitting around thinking that you're gonna be one of these dumb people who they elevate, who can barely speak English, who's gonna be out here making moves out here, man. Like, dude, that ain't the way this shit works out here. That is not the way this works out here. You don't have people who barely can speak English driving around in Maseratis and all that kind of dumbass shit. It don't mean nothing. I mean, it's nothing but advertising somebody else's product that ain't yours, that you don't control. And as long as the entry into the market is being a dumb motherfucker, then guess what? They're always gonna own your ass. That's it. I mean, I mean, who wants to be the 75-year-old motherfucker known back in the day as 21 Savage? Like, who? Like, these motherfuckers have no term of long-term thinking.
Right.
It's kind of like the person who maybe have got Black China pregnant. Where the fuck was that dude's parents? That dude wasn't in school, like, doing nothing. Like, that's what I'm saying, of no supervision of the actual product. Because taught properly, you can actually be pretty successful in this society if you leave the worst part of hip hop culture the fuck alone. Like when Indians and Arabs listen to hip hop culture, yeah, they listen to that shit and then they go hit them fucking books.
Right.
Right? Because they want to be a doctor or a lawyer or a dentist or something else at the end of the day. Because that shit takes effort. To be a rapper, you're already a rapper as a dumb motherfucker to them. You're already there. You don't have to learn anything to be a rapper. All you gotta do is your cousin's in the industry, and your cousin can see now he can make a couple $1 million off of you, hand you a couple $100,000, and then you're gonna end up doing dumb whack shit that's gonna get your ass in jail because you don't have any critical thinking skills. So in order for you to be able to create more music, you gotta put yourself in more and more fucking dumb ass shit over and over again, like fucking Tupac, but worse. You know, and like I said, man, it takes no jump in logic or reason to be a current rapper of today. That's just the problem with this shit.
No, that's I definitely agree with that. Let me do this. Let me a shout out to I saw a few people. Donovan Sharp was here in the chat. So shout out to Donovan. Super Sly, I sent you a link. Shout out to again Misanthropic One. And you know, just a whole bunch of brothers are here tonight. Let's go ahead to Aaron Ferris, man. Go ahead and weigh in on whatever you want to weigh in on, brother.
Hey, what's good, fellas? Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool, man. All you guys have some very, very valid points, man. You know, I'm down here in Atlanta, basically the home of trap music. And like one of you brothers said, everybody raps down here. Everybody trying to give you a mixtape. It's almost like it's crazy down here, man. It doesn't really make any sense because you do have a lot of the youth missing out on a very important time in their life when they should be trying to learn something like a trade or education. They're all trying to rap. And what the rap thing is man, it's almost like trying to get to the NBA, man. It's very difficult to, you know, go through all that clutter because everybody's trying to rap. But what I want to do real quick is before I really get into it, man, for me to analyze it, I like to go back a little bit and look at the history of hip hop. Because I think we're getting it confused, like, because hip hop, the way hip hop started from basically in New York, from the, you know, the projects of people being socially frustrated by the government, basically. They put a beat behind it, and it was a beautiful thing, and these guys make millions of dollars. When hip hop kind of went out there on the West Coast, you saw their social frustration to a certain degree, and it became gangster. It's a difference between hip hop, like conscious music, like, you know, the Talib Kweli's and everything, and it's a difference between gangster rap. So what we have to ask ourselves is, why did everybody gravitate towards gangster rap so much instead of the Talib Kweli's and the Mos Defs and everything, the conscious rap? And the reason behind that is it was entertainment. It was just more entertaining. And in them late 90s, man, you lost the balance in our music. Because when we was growing up, we had a little bit of a balance. And because we had a little bit of a balance within the music, like you had Outkast, you know, a whole bunch of just different rap groups. You didn't have to just listen to gangster. The problem with the youth today is that's all they have. That's all they have is trap music. So it's really not a balance. So I'm almost thinking that when Nas came out with that album, Hip Hop is Dead, he was telling everybody, yo, hip hop is dead. This is not hip hop. What we have now is just dysfunctional music with a marketing campaign behind it, really. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's going to really influence the youth, man. And then you combine that with single parent households. Like when I was growing up, you know, I grew up in a single parent household. I didn't just listen to P as for entertainment. I was listening to Master P for guidance. And that's where we're going wrong right there.
Yeah,
we're listening to these street dudes for guidance, and a lot of us not even in the street. My brother, he took it one way, I took it the other way, because I knew it was just entertainment. Because I actually grew up with street dudes. I know O'Shea, you probably knew real street dudes, and their lives was fucked up real quick. But if you're in the suburbs and you're not really understanding what the streets really are, and it's just not just entertainment, then you got a lot of guys really faking the funk right about now, bro.
Right.
That's all I had to say. I don't want to be long with it, but yeah, that's pretty much it.
Man, get your long one on. You know, Edward on here. He be getting his long one on every night, man. Shout out to Clutch if you want to. We have a spot available. If you want in, guys, this is gonna be, you know, I'll keep it going as long as I can stay up. So let me do this real quick. I want to go to Super Sly real quick, and we'll kind of change the topic. Go, what's up, Super Sly? I know you're a hip hop head too, man. So go ahead and weigh in on whatever you want to weigh in on, brother. It's good to have you on here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. A couple points. The balance, we didn't lose the balance. The industry made it a point to shift the balance towards a certain kind of music.
Exactly.
What happened, people tend to forget what Benzino tried to warn everybody when he was having his issues with Eminem and Interscope. But everybody laughed at Benzino, and you saw, and he laid it out how Jimmy Iovine and his backers pretty much co-opted hip hop or whatever to a certain extent, and it started pushing this narrative. Second thing is, why is everybody mad at these kids at how they express themselves? See, did nobody want to say nothing when Onyx was throw your guns in the air? It was Onyx, right? No one want to say, you don't want to accuse the Wu-Tang Clan for bringing in coke rap, okay? So if you're gonna point the finger at a lot of these old heads that didn't leave much of a trail for these young kids because everybody sold out. Everybody. Your favorite rappers all sold out and left these kids pretty much to hang for themselves. Now these kids are made away from themselves. You don't like the direction it's going in. You don't be mad at them. Allow them to have their space to express themselves. When everybody was listening to Lil Wayne, when he was high off lean and perp, and Swisher House, everything was chopped and screwed. Now you mad at Lil Yachty and whoever the case may be, because if they're the result of what the old heads started. So I think this anger and this blame is sorely misplaced. Don't blame these kids. These kids are a reflection of what these old heads allowed to happen.
Let me holler at that. Can I piggyback off that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Super Sly.
Oh, shout out to Harry Mingo with the $50 super chat. Damn. Shout out to Harry M, man. Thank you so much, brother. Go ahead, and weigh in on that, brother.
Super Sly just dropped some gems, and that's something that I think about a lot, like really reflecting on, okay, if we can really approach this from a serious standpoint, from straight truth. I grew up hip-hop dude in the 90s. Like, you couldn't tell me shit about no kind of hip-hop shit, no kind of rap shit. But there was a broader spectrum, as the brother just alluded to. So you could have De La Soul, you could have Hammer, you could even have Salt and Pepper, you could have all the way to some more obscure shit. But even, you know, NWA was running at that time. All the grimy shit to the fluffy shit, you know what I mean? Even the corny shit. The spectrum was way broader. So if you did have Wu-Tang bringing in the coke rap, that was fucked up, but it is some real shit. Hip hop does have that bandwidth to really keep it real on some street shit, but it is a slippery slope when it becomes a situation to where other interests who do not have black people's interest in mind co-opt the situation and then decide who they want to put more money into and elevate by way of their machine. So it is a dangerous game. So, but I have to say what Super Sly said is true. They were pumping ultimately what is negativity. However, I do feel like groups like Wu-Tang did give somewhat of a proper framing and letting people know, like, it's a struggle. Like, I'm trying to think of like a Raekwon verse where he's like talking about he was a fiend for cracks and weed. The combination made his eyes bleed. So, I mean, they kind of telling it how it really is in the grit and the grime of it, not so much glorification of it. This shit we're hearing now is outright glorification, and we're dealing with a whole different era in the sense of the technology, social media, this type of shit, instant gratification, instant attention, instant fame, more dusty ass niggas out here trying to get it in. So if you want to talk about selling dope, even if you ain't doing it, it's so easy to just cook up something and pop out a new song, a new hot 16. You could crank those out all day, every day. One of the brothers said, yeah, you could do that before breakfast. It's really interesting, but really thinking about it, it becomes a situation of us as a people. Do we care more about our plight, or do we care more about entertainment? Because clearly hip hop, R&B, soul music, all of our shit has been hijacked. I think about it a lot. Do we need to unplug from the shit and just back up off our own shit, considering that it can be weaponized against us? I don't know. But I try to think in terms of, can there be more media outlets that can push more of the proper Black music and tell the story properly? That's something I personally do. Coming from that background of being such a hip hop dude, I was smart enough to say, hold on, stop trying to rap, fuck making the beats. Let's get into who's actually curating who's being seen. That's where the real control is. So I started doing more events. I'm a graphic designer. So between creating events, curating events, doing all the graphics for it, I got into more video work. Now I'm producing video media. My brand, All Street Looks, we're doing full spectrum, trying to go as hard as we can, from events to clothing, streetwear, all of the shit that these companies have made billions of dollars off of, and we did not own and control it. I'm trying to do that now. I'm damn near 40, here I am, but I'm learning these lessons and trying to reach out to brothers like O'Shea, fucked with me. And that's real dope. So just being on this panel is a big honor. And I think this is a great step in the right direction of really waking some brothers up and being like, hey, what we're up against, they've taken our shit and they're weaponizing it against us all across the board. Do we care more about the entertainment, or do we care about our position overall, while at the same time trying to work to create a solution and create an outlet? I don't make any money doing all this stuff. Essentially, it's a hobby. But as a hip hop dude, in my actual career, parlayed over from doing hip hop shit. Again, I'm a graphic designer. That's what I do. My day job, video work, motion graphics, design shit. I collab with dope artists that I really like. People pay me to do shit that came purely from hip hop. All of my life working people's punk ass jobs, making these other motherfuckers rich. No more. Game over. I'm trying to funnel it back to myself and to my people on such a hardcore level.
Let me just do a shout out to True from Troy for the $10 super chat. Guys, do me a favor. We got 222 people watching right now. Brothers, do us a favor and get the likes up on the video. Okay, so I really want to appreciate you guys for watching tonight. We got 134 likes. We have our awesome panel as we normally do. Now, you guys been wanting to bring the panels back, and it's 2:00 in the morning. I'm up late for you Negroes. Y'all might as well hit the like button on the goddamn video. I have to tell you niggas no motherfucking more time. The likes is free because Jesus paid it all on the motherfucking cross. Okay, that's for you Baptist niggas out there. All right, LAR movement. Go ahead on. Say what you're gonna say.
Oh man, I'm gonna blow some shit up.
Go ahead and blow it up, dog.
Okay, 80s, 90s, 2000s.
Okay.
If you was in the 80s, the hip hop was transformed. You were listening to old school records, Marvin Gaye, Whitney Houston, The Temptations, all that other shit, while your parents was on that shit. They wasn't watching your ass, and this is why you gravitated to that shit in the 90s. And now if you was in the 90s listening to that stuff, you don't want to say that, oh, I like Bone Thugs and Harmony. Mo Murder was like the greatest song ever. But I like the song called Mo Murder. And I thought that was cool. But you don't want to say, you know what? I was fucked up. Because I'm listening to guys who used to be teenagers talk about how much they used to get high when they were fucking teenagers. That's a problem. We also don't want to take into consideration at a point that we're talking about men, young men who become men, who told you it was cool to pimp, sell dope, kill your own, but they ain't gonna raise their motherfucking kids like that. And you see these motherfuckers on TV 20 years later, my baby going to private school, she ain't gonna be in all that bullshit. My son ain't gonna be in all that bullshit. And you're like, wait. Why did you just make a new song last week, said you were still gonna be doing that shit then? But we don't want to talk about that. Another part of hip hop, we really forget that hip hop has now introduced to us as a society completely. Mm-hmm. Hip hop had to compete with one of the best eras of R&B music. So you had to have skills. See, now people don't have skills. And then it funnels into all these other occupations as an American, because you see all of these Americans in every fucking genre of America don't have good skills. Football players can't play football. Basketball players can only dunk. Doctors can write prescriptions but can't tell you what the fuck wrong with you. Lawyers just tell you to take the charge. You know, American construction workers got to call in guys from another country to do the fucking work because they don't know what the fuck they doing. And then we're going to say, oh, you know, because of hip hop. It's true. It's partially because of hip hop, because we don't want to admit as a society, we like fuckery Monday through Saturday, and we act like we love God on Sunday. We don't have to listen to this shit. We don't have to buy this shit. Didn't nobody make your motherfucking ass drive and buy an old fucked up gangster rap CD in the 90s. You took your happy ass there. You got on the bus, taxi cab. You lied to your grandma and said you wanted some church shoes, and you snuck in the CD store and bought I'm killing these bitches right now. You like that shit. You called the radio station. I want to vote for that bitch gonna suck my dick to be number one. You do that shit. And now you walk around, these kids fucked up. Really? You really think these kids fucked up? I wonder why. I remember vividly dancing with your mama to back that ass up when you was 3, and I didn't say shit because I was just humping on the tube. But then you wonder why these kids fucked up.
Right.
These kids all want to be rappers. Maybe that's because your ass wanted to be a rapper. And I've like I said, I've made music before. Y'all want to know how stupid some of these motherfuckers are? Because this is what Man of Tomorrow probably didn't know. If you ever rap before, you hung around rappers who I need to get high to write a song. No, you just stupid than a motherfucker. I need to get drunk to write a song. No, you stupid than a motherfucker. I'm gonna be back in about 4 hours. I'm gonna get it right. No, you never coming back, motherfucker. You was high when you wrote the song. You don't know what the fuck you talking about now. And then they talk, and like Sly said, everybody sold out. Everybody sold out. Oh, you can't tell me you that hard and you a motherfucking killer, but I'm gonna live next door to the owner of the Kings. I'm not living next to you Negroes. You Negroes are crazy. You just sent half of these motherfucking kids to the pen telling them being a drug dealer was the thing to be. And some of us as grown men still walking around, you know, I want to be like Jay-Z. What? He sold crack to his own mama, but you want to be like him? I want to be like Snoop. What? Snoop was a pimp, then a drug dealer, then he got off for murder. Now he's at the Million Man March in a suit and some glasses looking like Malcolm X, and you just gonna let this shit slide.
Oh my God, that's a whole nother story. Oh yeah.
Half of you motherfuckers weed heads because you thought I wasn't. I mean, you can blame Bob Marley, but that's a whole nother story. But you don't want to say this shit. Nobody wants to admit that sometimes we actually use hip hop as an excuse to be bitch ass people.
That's true.
Because what's in your playlist right now? Is all that conscious shit that you be talking, is that in your playlist right now? Or is this is my 4th kilo I'm finna drop on you hoes in my playlist right now? And your kid in the back like, yeah, daddy, get it. No. Oh, you know what? I need to shut the fuck up before I say something that hurts somebody's feelings.
The conscious shit, the conscious shit ain't turned up enough. It ain't live enough. That's the fake ass cop out answer. The conscious shit, I need the live or turned up shit. But then somebody can say some conscious shit on a supposedly turned up beat, as if to say trap beats are the only turned up hype beats. It's so fucked up now. LAR just dropped gems. I just had to piggyback off that because it's so fucked up.
Hold on. The bully's here. Anthony Bully Logan, Bully man, you know you more than welcome, man. I got one more slide available. I sent Clutch a link. I don't know if he came in yet, but the bully is definitely able to get on here because the bully's in the building. Shout out to the Anthony Bully Logan. Some of y'all like him around here. I don't know why, but let me go to Edward Anderson. Y'all, I got and thank you for the brother super chat. I'm gonna shout you guys in a minute, man. These motherfucking allergies is killing me. But go ahead, Edward. Go ahead, Edward, and weigh in on whatever you want to weigh in. I'll change the topic up for the next go round. But go ahead, Edward.
All right, ain't that the truth with the allergies? I forgot what the topic was, but I'm gonna piggyback on what LAR said. You know, I got this quote that I always tell people. You know, when it comes to music, when people get in my car want to change the goddamn station, I say, show me your playlist, and I'll tell you if you worth a damn or not. And a lot of these folks, when you listen to them, like some of their songs in there, you gotta understand, gangsta rap is kind of like what death metal was. And white folks would never allow death metal to be spread like they've allowed the gangsta rap to be spread. You'd have like thousands of kids want to shoot up schools if you had all that stuff. They understood how to compartmentalize the music and then to brand the music in its proper place to say subconsciously, this is what you want. This is what the weird kids want. This is what the goth kids want. Versus when it comes to black people, as usual, they'll try to crowdsource or dragnet everybody, no matter what socioeconomic status you're in. Partly because they don't care, they don't respect the art form, but another part is because they want to keep you in a hyper consumerism state, and they want to keep you in the consumer class, because that's really what black people are for in America. We used to be a labor class, and now while they trying to get rid of our ass, we are consumer class as they shove us out the door or out the cities or whatnot. They still want to buy us stuff. They buy stuff. They still don't want to see us. You know how they say agents, you buy or you go, like that shit. For me personally, and that's another point I'm gonna put out too, is a lot of these guys back in the day used to have some mastery of the English language. Now, and you can see it because they were able to write movie scripts or do different stuff, like Ice Cube and stuff like that. They wanted to do different things with the English language. Now what it is you got basically crack, and I hate to say it this way because I got family members that did crack, but I'm gonna say it this way. You got crack babies basically making music, and then you got crack babies basically listening to that shit and feeling that shit. Because if you notice, when people say, I feel it, I feel you, that's not a logical response. That's an emotional response. So you're not, it's like hypnosis. And I've actually studied hypnosis. So I know how it works. I know how it works as far as advertising and stuff like that. So when you feel something behind a beat, that's putting you in a state and you're not logically thinking about what you're doing. A lot of people don't realize is when you watch TV and listen to music, it's very few parts of your brain is being activated. You are in a mind control zombie state versus if you actually read a book or read lyrics, your brain has to actively do that. So your brain is in an active state. That's why reading lyrics is always different than actually hearing them. But a lot of people don't understand that. And to jump on what Am1 said, where he talked about that conscious stuff, you absolutely right. That is a cop-out. What it really is folks don't want to act like adults. Hip-hop is a way for black people to stay stunted and basically keep their IQ like it's in fucking high school. And if you notice how, like, when we have conversations on these social media things and stuff like that, you can tell people that they may be 40 years old, but they still speaking like they in high school. You can tell. So, anyway, the last thing I was going to mention is this. I got a lot of because I got Jadina in there, talk about songs like Classic Man. I got Tupac in there, but I also got motivational speeches in my playlist too. So I listen to a lot of YouTube channels that take movie scores and they put motivational speeches behind them. Like people like Les Brown, hip hop preacher, Gary Vaynerchuk. That's what I listen to consistently. And what you bring, you are what you listen to, just like you are what you eat.
That is so true. No, that's absolutely true. Let me do this real quick. Let me go. Let me see. Let me get brother Aaron Ferris in. We'll go to Super Slide and back. Man, tomorrow. Have you already spoke already on this round?
I mean, I can go last, or I could just go on the next topic. It's not a big deal. Just keep it rolling.
Okay, let's go to Aaron Ferris, and then we'll go to Super Slide. Go ahead, Aaron.
I want to ask the panel a real quick question, man, because lately, what I've been doing is I've been just listening to the instrumentals of a lot of hip hop, a lot of old hip hop and everything. And my question to you guys is, because maybe you can answer this for me, is it the brilliance of the music that these guys are producing, or is it the lyrics that have everybody so intrigued about the music and making it so influential? Because when I just stopped listening, and like I say, a lot of stuff I just listen to the instrumentals now, like a lot of Biggie instrumentals, 3 6 Mafia instrumentals, and I'm just like, I'm almost amazed by the production value and how good this music is. It's almost like on a Beethoven type level to me.
Okay, hold on, Edward. Before you respond to that, I'll tell you what. Let me get Super Sly in. We'll ask the question to the whole entire panel because we still have some people that are still weighing on this particular topic. So let's do this. Let's let Super Sly win on what he wanted to do, say on that one, and then let me put my camera on. I'm out here sick as a fucking dog. But after that, we will take Aaron's question and spread it out throughout the whole panel so everybody gets to talk. So let's go ahead and let Super Sly say something what he wanted to say on whatever we want to talk about, and then we'll use Aaron's question to the whole panel. And if anybody wants to do that also with amongst the panel, you guys can do what Aaron just did, which is address the whole panel with the question, and we'll work from there. Go ahead, Super Sly.
Yeah, 2 quick points. The first point is, take example, Pusha T. Everyone's rooting for Pusha T, like, oh, he bodied Drake, he murdered Drake. Pusha T is a 41-year-old man still talking about dope.
Oh my God! Me and LAR Movement was just talking about that shit 2 days ago. Oh my God! Actually, LAR made the same fucking statement.
Yeah, so
that just blew up the whole panel. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that just goes to show you what that is right there. Now, whatever your opinion and viewpoints on Drake is, you know, that's debatable. But the fact that you still have this dude in his 40s pushing coke rap, I don't know how else to say that. And then let me answer the question with, well, make mention what AM1 said. Here's the thing: people don't understand, as far as production wise, it's called the female chord progression. And if you understand what the female chord progression is, basically 90% of all your pop songs, all your songs on Billboard, come from the same 5 or 6 chords. It all has the same bass skeleton setup. And with hip hop, producers got lazy. They got away from instruments. They went all basically to computers, Cubase, Fruity Loops. They don't even use the keyboards anymore, like the Chord Tritons and the ASR10s anymore, like they used to. It's all basically different frequencies and sounds that elicit a certain type of emotional response and literally put you in a trance. In a nice way of saying it. So it's not so much the production is better, because it's clearly not. They figured out a way to kind of lower the frequency for your responses through the music to a certain extent. That's why everything's very, very bass heavy, very 808 heavy, and it's played at certain frequencies to kind of elicit a certain response out of you, or to kind of make you think it's really good when it's really not. It's because any musician will tell you this is why they say hip hop is trash, and they're not wrong, because if you understand your chords, your scales, your progressions, different octaves. The fact that these guys can't even read music or read sheet music or even write out the notes for the beats that they created, you understand why they say hip hop is literally trash when it comes to all forms of music. So those are my quick points.
But let me ask you still, but like I think maybe his point was maybe like 3 6 Mafia, like maybe like 25 years ago and stuff like that. Was it always trash as far as the beats at that point? Not now, but I think he's talking about when he's listening to older music. What do you have to say about that?
Here it is. There's 2 types of producers in hip hop. Either you can play the instrument or you can't. Now you can give me your best hip hop producer on a keyboard on a computer, and I can name 5 guys production wise that can play music, and they will wipe the floor with them every time because there's no soul to it, and that's the whole essence of it. That's why samples are so relied upon heavy in hip hop because there's a soul to it, and and if you can replay that and recreate that, a perfect example is John Bryan, Kanye's second album. It's the white boy playing the instrumentals. It's not Kanye. So y'all give Kanye way too much credit for his ascension in his music and his sound. It was the white dude, John Bryan, on his second album. From there on out, that's how Kanye kind of ascended in his musical production because he had a white boy that could actually play the music. There it is there. That's my point.
Okay, let me do this. So let's take Aaron's question and address the entire panel on that one. Let me do this. I want to just give a shout out to a few of the brothers out there that have super chatted. So let me just do that real quick. A shout out to Clutch. He's now on the panel. We have 255 people watching. Sorry about the delay in the shows. I know I'm backed up. I got so many shows to get caught up on and interviews. I have one with Friday with Al Greaves. But let me do this real quick. We have LAR preaching. If you bring up Tupac, the sacred cow syndrome kicks in with most black people. CR Frank Firestream, thank you, $5. Connections. Our community gave away hip hop to corporations due to lack of business acumen. We could have controlled the industry from head to toe. Thank you so much for the super chat. And guys, continue to support the stream by liking the video. If for nothing else, continue to do that because we have some really talented brothers on the stream tonight. So continue to like the stream. Let's go to Mana tomorrow, and then we'll jump over to Clutch. So, do you think, I guess, Aaron, can you ask the question again that you wanted the people to answer, just to make sure I don't want to misquote or anything?
Okay, I was just asking the panel, man, is it the instrumental, is it the music behind what they're saying that's making hip hop so powerful? Would rappers be popular at all if it wasn't for this brilliant production? Because I believe the brilliance is in the production, at least back in the day. I'm talking about 90s, because when I first heard Bone Thugs and Harmony, I was a kid. I was hypnotized by that joint, man. By the lyrics and the music, more or less. But if you take away the lyrical content, the music is just as powerful, if not more powerful than what they're saying.
Okay. Let's start off with, shout out to AM1 for $10 super chat. Thank you so much, brother. Let's start off with Mana tomorrow, and then we'll go from there. Go ahead, MLT.
Yeah, I mean, the beats are, to me, the experience. I mean, none of these people are not saying anything all that groundbreaking on these records, but man, the production quality and the beats, that's what I listen for. Well, I don't listen to anything new, but what I do listen to, those beats are great, man. And my own experience versus what they're actually talking about over a certain type of song, and that's how I personalize it. I really don't really give a damn about what they're talking about on the song, but you listen to the song and just think, how would this song really appeal to me? Sometimes they talk about stuff that I don't even know anything about, but the beats are pretty much the song to me, not the lyrics. So that's all I got to say on that.
All right, let's go to Clutch. Clutch, what's your theory on that?
Well, first of all, shout out to everyone in the chat room. Thanks for having me on the panel again. And I'm surprised. I'm not even the biggest hip hop head, but although I know my fair share of it, I grew up around it, and I saw how it has not single-handedly, but it was a component in destroying what a lot of people perceive to be a suburban life in a suburban place, but that's a whole nother story. But on to the question of lyrical beats versus instrumentals. I'm surprised nobody's pointing out that a lot of the instrumentals that we heard, especially in supposedly the golden era of hip hop rap, a lot of that is borrowed instrumentals from songs, particularly black songs back in the 70s. I mean, we can go down the list.
Yeah, samples.
So,
No, go ahead.
Was that?
Yeah, like samples from like older songs.
Exactly. Samples from R&B songs back in the 70s. It's these raps or hip hop songs back in that era, that sort of thing. But as far as fame is concerned, especially now, all people have are the beats. All people have are the instrumentals because for the most part, I mean, listen to Future, for instance. I can't even understand half the shit he says. And any of you who claims you can, you're lying your ass off. Either that or your IQ is as low as he is. But as far as that is concerned, yeah, I can't say that a lot of the instrumentals, one, are original, and two, take that much creativity to create. Now, are they catchy? Yes. Are in many cases what they make the song? Yes. But especially now with the lyrics, with the empty lyrics, yeah, instrumental beats are what pushes the hip hop that we listen to, or the rap that we listen to, or the trap that we listen to today.
Okay. No, good points. Good points. Let's go to I think Edward. Edward, let's go ahead and see if we can get Edward on.
Yeah, I mean, this is a great question. A couple of key points here. First, when you look at food, and I know, follow me here. When you look at food, there's like, I forget what it's called, but there's a component to it, like fast food or sweets, where they have the perfect like balance of salt, sugar, and fat, and it's designed to make your taste buds pop. So it creates an addictive effect to where you want it more and more and more. Hence why America's so fucking obese right now with fast food, with sweets and stuff like that. That's a lot like what Super Sly was talking about as far as the chords that they're talking about.
Okay.
They don't make the chords in order to make good music. They make the chords in order to create a frequency that allows you to want that music in that moment. That's why I made the reference to a lot of rappers today are porn stars, because if you notice, porn stars don't last. That's why the music lasts back in, if you notice, it was a sliding scale, but the music lasts a lot longer. That's why you virtually don't see any classics today versus like back in the day. Even like in the 90s, even you could argue in the early 2000s. So that's the address, the beat part. That's what that is. I mean, and back in the day, you had people. I don't know if Scott Storch actually, I believe he played an instrument and stuff like that. But you had like Timbaland, people like that, and that's exactly what he was saying. The other part I wanted to say, and then I'll let go of the mic, is have anybody ever listened? I would love to do a YouTube channel playing beats. No, playing half of the song is a beat and half of the song is the lyrics independent of the beat. And listen to a Future, listen to a Young Thug, listen to an ASAP Rocky, listen to those people independent of a beat. Now, if you listen to Tupac and you listen to Biggie, then they were saying something. That's why you could take Tupac and Biggie songs and put them on other like beats, because there was a rhythm to it. Even in the late 90s and the 90s, you listen to Waka Flocka and all of them without a beat, that crap would sound like gibberish.
All right. So shout out to let me go to let me say here AM1, and then we'll go to LAR.
All right, so yeah, people were speaking on the idea of the beats versus the lyrics. So where we're at now is, like many of the brothers have alluded to, write a Hot 16 saying the same ass shit. Think about it this way. I've been writing rhymes since I was 14. I'm about to be 40 in 2 months. I could sit down and write a rhyme and say some really elaborate shit on every bar. And it doesn't have to be super high vocabulary. I mean, just being clever with it, you know what I'm saying? Versus if I've been listening to people talk about selling dope for 2/3 of my life by way of rap music, it would be ridiculous if I couldn't replicate that, right? If you listen to da 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 woo da 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 woo, everything is fucking ad libs and just I'm selling dope 30-round clip in the Uzi. Like, really? I mean, come the fuck on. I mean, so that already is just bullshit in and of itself. Now, you guys went back to the whole production. digital audio workstations, all these programs, Reason, Ableton. I've been through all of those myself. Logic, all these different things. Somebody could download that from fucking BitTorrent tonight and have supposedly a hot song by later on tonight and fuck around and blow up. Because it's not real at this point, it's not even about the music, because Fool's lyrics is whack. The beats are whack as fuck too, because you can get those kind of audio workstations and they have presets with trap type beats already in them. So I mean, it's just like an excuse to have this conveyor belt cookie cutter fucking sound. It's bullshit. I mean, what's really going on right now is that one of the brothers said it earlier. It's really about the whole hype and the whole imagery and everything that comes with it, especially for dusty ass black dudes and women who are just on some bullshit and ain't trying to really do shit with their life. It's the ultimate cop out for them to try to act like they're doing something. I know a lot of ladies here in the Bay that's like, yeah, my dude is always talking about he's in the studio or some bullshit like that. And I'm like, yeah, no, I've actually been in the studio working on shit, but while I had a full-time ass job, you know what I mean? That wasn't me trying to like act like that was all I had going on. And like I said before, I actually backed up off that because I saw there was no future in that and parlayed it over into getting behind the scenes where I really have some actual influence and control. But I mean, right now it's all about the look. I was listening to Vlad TV, which is actually interesting. Vlad TV, Lord Jamar on Vlad TV, hip hop legend, brand Nubian, with the comedian Godfrey. And they were talking specifically about the same topic, where it's about the imagery and the look that comes with it, all the glitz and the glamour, all the posing, the flossing, but it's all fake. So I mean, literally right on the street, liquor store right on the corner right here, I see dudes standing around bumming, trying to get people, asking people for money, super low sagging, the same like thug trap rap uniform. I call it a uniform because it's like, really? They bumming, but then they wearing some like a Louis Vuitton belt or some shit. So it's like, what the fuck is really going on here? Like, I don't even know, dude. It's about the look. So you want to fake floss, you want to act like you pulling bitches, you doing all this shit, but you really dusty as fuck. But then somebody like me is like, hey, can we try to elevate the culture? Nah, nigga, you square, you on some bullshit. Like, you ain't keeping it, man. Man.
I've been called square too. It's okay.
Oh no, I'll be that square ass light skinned dude. The way I talk, everything. But guess what? I parlayed this shit over into more freedom than most people I know, and I'm still on track to get better. So I don't give a fuck what nobody said.
Go shoot some threes, nigga. No.
Fuck that with that Steph Curry shit, my nigga.
Oh, I know. Let me do this. You know, I want to talk about this whole DJ Vlad situation. People like Cardi B. I guess more so people like DJ Vlad, right? And I guess you would call these guys like culture vultures.
Hell yeah.
Guys who are not really in, you know, really a part of the culture. They find their way into the hip hop industry to make money for themselves when they're not really in the culture. They, you know, it's people like Vlad TV. Really, you know, you even got guys like, you know, going to him to get interviews. Tariq Nasheed. I mean, he might as well just be as big as the Breakfast Club. Tommy Sotomayor, obviously, that whole happened at Vlad TV set. I mean, is it black people's fault that, you know, we allow somebody like Vlad TV or other people who are like coming in and kind of just taking advantage of, you know, kind of a black dominated thing? Black people are going to, you know, this guy's show to get interviewed and stuff like that. Is that a problem that we can't control that economy? I want to kind of start off with LER and then we'll go to Manna tomorrow. Let's talk about this whole culture vulture thing going. And I know there were some people that super chat. I'm going to get back to that right after this, but let's kind of go to LAR with that, and then we'll kind of go. We'll go around the panel here, kind of go around the world. Go ahead, LAR.
I'm gonna try to mix both of these topics together, the last one and this one. So, but I'm gonna try to keep it as short as possible.
Okay.
The biggest problem is in totality, we forget history because we're not paying attention.
Okay.
I grew up with my grandparents, so I knew that old school people prior to the Motown era, they just remade songs and melodies. And a lot of people were making the same song over and over again. I also knew in the Motown era, they did the same thing. You fast forward, by the time that hip hop started blasting with the sampling, that was also the era that people was taking music out of schools. So that's part of the reason why there was a lack of musicianship.
Okay.
As far as the beats versus the rhyme, here's where people forgot something. The art of songwriting make you look at beats instead of rhymes because lyrics are just words that rhyme. You don't have songs that the actual titles match the actual subject matter in the song. You don't have songs where you stick to the subject through one verse to the next verse to the next verse. You don't have songs with a bridge. You don't have songs that go in a crescendo.
Right.
Because people can't write songs. Which fast forward into the culture vulture thing, our music has dumbed down to the point, and we're not paying attention to the point that if you listen to other genres of music and you actually know Black music, the history of it, guess what they're doing? They're taking our cadences from old songs and just writing new words to them, or sometimes taking the very words out of them, and we're not paying attention. You listen to a Spanish station. If you don't really have to understand the words, you're like, that's Anita Baker. That's Earth, Wind, and Fire. Because you can hear them doing the same melodies, and we're not paying attention, and we don't know our own musical history because we have dumbed ourselves down to, oh, that's a beat, boom, 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 that's a beat, boom. I'm like, what? Wait a minute. And then you get people, like you say, that come around culture vulturing. They're able to be culture vultures because we are so impulsive and in the moment, we just riding trend after trend after trend after trend. It took people years to catch on to the fact that American Idol wasn't nothing but the Apollo. It takes people years, and right now, to say, well, Vlad TV a culture vulture. How many Black radio stations you know got one Black person, one Hispanic, one Asian, one white person? How many rock stations do Black people work for and DJ? None. How many Spanish stations are Black people working for? None. How many country stations are Black people working for? None. How many Asian stations are Black people working for? None. We're including ourselves out of everything, talking about inclusion, and these people are being culture vultures, but truth be told, we let them all in. And partially the business acumen of it is kind of ironic that we said drug dealers were smart businessmen and entrepreneurs, and we had 20-something years of drug dealers being rappers, but they couldn't even come together as gangster as they was and put a lock on rap. Everybody else hoe. They the liquor store hoe. I got this new alcohol to sell for you white folks. I got this, you know what I'm saying? I got these new sneakers. But we need to come together and as a community and put a lock on the industry. Last time I checked, actually rap was like the second or third most thing exported out of the country.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you want to be real, same thing with Jay-Z when they had the title picture. Only two Black people in the room was Jay-Z and Beyonce. You invited them motherfuckers in there. And all of these pictures that we're taking of, you know, this is the culture. If you really want to be honest about us, hip hop isn't a culture no more. It's just hip hop is biting fake ass mainstream American culture. We just want to be flashy hoes now. That's it. I mean, I'm done, fam.
Bingo.
Bingo. Let's get Man of Tomorrow in on it. We'll go to Super Slide. Go ahead, Man of Tomorrow. What do you think about what he was talking about?
I mean, I really don't understand how is it that all these people are in music, but they don't own any radio stations. Like it don't. Like right now, I'm in Columbus, right? And you have a couple, probably like 3 or 4 different hip hop stations, but none of them are Black owned. They all run out of basically the same building. They just own different frequency bands, and they just own all the music. And all right, this weekend they had like a concert with I think like Dougie Fresh, EPMD, and like a couple more other people. Like the people who run those particular venues don't own radio stations. And most of these people are already millionaires. I've been talking to these people for years about that. But they just go as far and as comfortable as they want to go, and then they stop. No matter how much money they have, they don't want to go to the next level of owning everything. And they'll come up with every excuse in the book that they could come up with of how come they don't want to own something. And it's always some Illuminati-esque lack of critical thinking, dumbass reasoning of how come they don't want to own the entire product that they're interested in. Like me, when I first started with what I'm doing right now, I came in with a plan that I'm not gonna be doing this shit like this. Cause I've seen people doing this shit 20 some years and they couldn't save up and get their own shit and get their own fucking customers. This shit isn't that hard, but people just so comfortable making so much money where they are that they forget about the whole power prospect of owning it all, and they don't want to be responsible for it. That's another part of it as well. I mean, it's just really not that hard to do what these other people are sitting back doing for them. It's just really disgusting whenever you see these no talented people. The only thing they know how to do is take advantage of your labor and win. It's unconscionable sometimes to think about.
Okay, let me do this. Let's go to a super slide because it seems like he had it was a super slide. What it seems like I don't know if you were agreeing or disagreeing, but what do you think about what he said?
No diss to Man Tomorrow, but you are wrong, wrong, wrong. Case in point. First thing, make this real quick point. DJ Vlad, his two best friends are Lord Jamar and Trey D. So the culture vulture thing, that argument has no merit. If if his best friends are some of the most OG gangster motherfuckers in hip hop, okay? So that's that argument. The main point I want to make is they're not allowed to come together and own anything. Jackie Wilson, Otis Redding, who was the other guy? They all got murdered because they all tried to do a distribution company back in the early 50s and 60s. Fast forward to later on, you had Jay Prince, Suge Knight, and Damon Dash all wanted to do a distribution company. Somehow they all got hit with Fed charges a week prior of each other. So it's not coincidence. And for you to sit here and say they're lazy, it's not that they're lazy. They're not allowed to own on that type of level. They'll never let you own on the distribution part of it. You can count on one hand how many of them own their own masters. Okay, look what all Jay-Z had to do to get his masters, and he did a lot of snake stuff to get his music back. So it's highly disingenuous for anyone to sit here and say, "Oh, they're lazy because they don't have business acumen." They have business acumen. They're just not allowed to take it to the next level because the last thing this industry wants is a bunch of highly astute black men running the business. And if that's the case, if we didn't learn with hip hop, you didn't learn with rock, you didn't learn with blues, you didn't learn with jazz. Because when you say jazz, you think Kenny G. Okay, when you go to a blues concert, you see a number of white people there. So it's not that we're lazy or we're not doing what we're supposed to do. There's a system in place to only allow a certain few to that level. I hate the term Illuminati. That's just lazy talk. Is there a system in place? Yes, there is. But people feel free to disagree. But like I said, there's a certain ceiling that they allow certain people to pass. And if you don't want to understand that part of it, because everybody can't be lazy. They all can't be lazy. That's my quick point.
I'll let him respond. Go ahead, Man Tomorrow. You want to respond to that?
I mean, that's just not mutually exclusive everywhere. I mean, that's not a real reason to say this is how come you can't go as far as you can anywhere. I mean, if everybody's going to use the excuse of they're not being allowed to do something, but Jay Prince was doing a whole bunch of bullshit along with this. I mean, he beat those charges, but a lot of those people was doing a whole lot of stuff that was way, way beyond it, especially Suge Knight. So I mean, those people could do a hell of a lot more with their product than watching everybody else get paid off their product. I mean, I could have used the same excuse myself. The same people told me the same shit. Oh, you'll never be allowed to do X, Y, or Z. And look where the fuck I'm at right now. And there's people who still try to come in and tell me hey, well, you need to do this with your company, or you need to do that with your company, and you'll never be allowed to. And how I do my business is when I go to obtain new business, I use white people. They use my last name. My last name is on them cards. They go meet them. I don't go meet them. You have to figure out a way to break into these markets. And most of my business come from small towns. But I know they wouldn't fuck with black people, especially nobody like me. You think white farmers in the middle of Ohio, me transporting hops to Budweiser, would want to fuck with somebody who's black and a black owned company? Even though a ton of black drivers come out there every day? Dude, you have to figure out a way around this bridge that is there. And to just stand on the other side of it, man, dude, I'm not buying it.
Ooh, can I
Coming up with
jump
a
in?
distribution company is nothing but equipment. I mean, if you can own clubs, you can own everything else. I mean,
Can I?
it isn't that hard.
Okay,
So go
Edward,
ahead.
let's go ahead and jump in real quick, and then we'll go ahead.
All right. So first of all, I just want to admit, Super Sly, I respect your opinion, but at the same time, this is the type of stuff to where I get annoyed when people say, what black people go through is just comes down to the fact that you don't put that you're white on a damn loan application or a job interview or something like that. Because when that was said like a couple of weeks ago, what you just said now is exactly what I was thinking about. Here's the thing. If you look at all the various areas of activity, I'm not going to go through them. Yes, they do have a system in place to stop or stunt black people from moving up. This is why we always have these arguments when people try to say things like white supremacy, and I'm going to start calling it competition doesn't exist. Like everything's an equal playing field. Because what I want to do is have black men understand you live in an environment that is designed for you to fail. Because here's the thing: is the bridge between what you're saying and what Man of Tomorrow is saying. Man of Tomorrow is saying that system is not saying that system does not exist. What he's saying is and I'm not trying to speak for you, but this is what I'm getting from what you're saying, is you need to understand that you're in that environment so you can make tactical and strategic changes in order to move up. Now, you shouldn't have to do that, but you do. And what happens is we got too many people that'll say certain things that get in the way or interfere with that mindset, telling black folks you don't need to adjust for certain things because everything is the same. That's why I always get annoyed when people say that. So now it's kind of like we want to say that there's a system to stop these people, which there is a system. But when we talk about other areas of activity, it's like it ain't the system. It's that you ain't working hard enough. So depending on conversation to conversation, what I find is you start to see people get inconsistent with that. Second thing I'm going to say, yes, DJ Black is a culture vulture. I don't care how much of an OG Lo Jamar is. I don't care if he's Tupac fucking Shakur. He is a culture vulture. I don't care how sincere he is. Just like what's the dude that helped Russell Simmons create Def Jam?
Rick
Same
Rubin.
Rick Rubin.
same thing there. I'm not saying these people are evil people, but what I'm saying is if you don't hammer that, if you don't identify that there, then you wind up exactly what LAR said. LAR, I'll give you an example. What LAR said. Black people ain't gonna be, like take Kobe Bryant, for example. Kobe is married to he has a Mexican wife. Mexicans love Kobe Bryant in LA. People can correct me if I'm wrong. It's out there in California. They don't really look at Kobe like they might look at a black person they see around the street. He's kind of like an exception in their eyes because he's down for the team. But with that said, if Kobe wanted to get their help when it comes to some business stuff, they gonna real quick start speaking Spanish, even though Kobe can speak that too, and try to act like and try to code up around him. Because when it comes to business, economics, and resources, I forget who said it, economics is war by other means. And when you start to get access to distribution where the real power is, what you start to see is they start to deploy warlike tactics. Bill Cosby went through this. The people that you just talked about, and this is really not so much the response so much to Slide, but just in general, went through this. And what happens is they elevate people that they know they can put that hammer on when they need to. I keep telling people this is going to happen. When they are ready to get rid of Nicki Minaj, they will use the fact that her brother raped that girl that he got convicted of. People will say, what does that have to do with anything? But they will make it have something to do with it when they're ready to make Nicki Minaj exit stage left if she decides to make a problem. They elevate people they kind of know got some dirt on them that they can activate. And they do that with other white people too. Even people like Harvey Weinstein. When white folks were finally tired of Harvey, they started letting this Me Too shit creep out. That just blew back on them. So even other white people, they so anyway,
let me interject
let me
like
make
10,
this last
15
point.
seconds.
Good.
Can I just interject for 10, 15 seconds, Sly?
Yeah.
I actually understand and agree with what part of what Sly is saying. I think the problem with that is the guys that we're talking about are the type of guys who've been saying for years how they gangster they way into everything, how they run the block, how they took over the streets, how they beat the police and they beat the feds and they beat all these other systems. And now it's the problem where, well, I'm scared. And it's like, wait a minute, you said you beat the system, you beat the streets, you killing folks, but now all of a sudden, now you should. That part doesn't compute for that particular genre of individuals. So I'm done.
Let me make my final point before I get out of here. Does Michael Jackson own his publishing? Does the Michael Jackson estate have the publishing? No, they do not. Sony has it back. Now ask me how that happened. So for those that want to sit here and you can disagree all you want.
Yeah,
the fact
is,
at the end of the day, the man that everyone wanted to kill him over for the publishing, his estate does not have the publishing. It went back to Sony. So everybody that he was holding over hostage, they all got their publishing back. How did that happen? If he did everything right, he played the game just as smart as the Jews, but for some odd reason after his death, he lost the publishing back to Sony.
I can answer that question. Okay, I'll answer that question directly. The reason that stuff like that happens is because white folk, and you could say Jewish people, we're really talking about white folks. Because I remember that comment that was made with the super chat, so I'm not trying to put this on Patreon. White folks create systems that allow other white people in different generations to interface it to do the same thing. So when Michael Jackson got snuck one on Paul McCartney, they was always gonna never leave Michael Jackson alone until they got that back. The point is, I agree that there's systems in place. And by the way, when he died, they got the family. They didn't get his stuff back, I believe, until after he died. And they're gonna do the same thing with Prince because the family is not on code now. The family's not on code. You see the same thing with Jackson's with Janet Jackson's daughter. You think that Arab dude that is like a big dude in like the fashion industry gave Janet that $300 million for no reason? You think black women talk about she's winning? No, he pretty much bought a stake in that name when it comes to do that child. And watch. So the point is, they have an organized offense, and the systems are more of an evolution of that. So again, I hear what you're saying, but they have that in every area of activity. And the problem, and here's my rebuttal to what you're saying, because I'm not disagreeing with that part. What I want to say is, when you look at distribution, I remember Dynas did a video with a guy from Nigeria, and he was talking about the Nigerian movie market and talking about how when he was in the United States, they were trying to fight for distribution and they were doing things when it comes to DVDs and stuff like that. It takes a certain type of mentality in order to do that. That's the first thing. Second thing is, when you look at the internet, when everything is wide open, where you got guys like Nipsey Hussle, Tech Nine, where it's never been easier to actually make a living off of hip hop. You may not get rich, but you can make a living enough to buy you a house and stuff like that, and you can build your own niche. You don't got folks doing that for the most part. Nipsey Hussle in the exception. What you got is niggas doing 360 deals because they want to be seen. And that's why I said the porn star thing. So Man of Tomorrow is absolutely correct. The reality is, we got people bringing Q-tips to gunfights, and then they getting scared when white folks actually take that mask off and say, nigga, I'm about to let you know who you are. Then these dudes get like bitches. And the dudes that don't, they put in jail. But here's the thing that I would say to Murder Inc. and all of those dudes. If distribution was something that they wanted to do, you got to rev up for that. You got to know how these people are going to come at you. You can't just be like, I'm going to decide to get in the distribution and white supremacy don't exist because I got my non-black woman, shout out to Dame Dash, you know, I got, you know, I'm like Kanye West, it's free thought and shit. And then when these white folks take the gloves off and really punch you and put you in jail, now you want to cry and act like white supremacy exists. That's why them niggas always get hung up like that, because they let themselves get wide open because they want to live in this world where it's about interracialism and stuff like that. That's when all that stuff that people like ABL and Tatum say that people want to believe, that's when that stuff comes at you. Bill Cosby, Tiger Woods, all these dudes get caught up because those systems get their ass. Even if they beat white people, they lose the war. All right, I'm done.
Okay, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, go ahead, man. Y'all keep talking. I'm trying to get my flu together. I got these ramen noodles in here trying to drink the chicken broth. Go ahead, y'all. I'm going to just turn my camera off real quick.
Okay, two things, fellas. The first thing, I want my brothers to realize this, and I want y'all to understand this for a little minute. I'm not trying to preach to everybody, but I'm just saying, when somebody of a different culture says that you're their best friend, and that person is making a living off of that particular culture, you have to be very weary of that. Because, you know, people, a white guy will say somebody like, yeah, these two black guys are my best friends, just so that can vouch for him to participate
exactly
in our culture, right? I seriously doubt if DJ Vlad from the West Coast, Lord Jamar's from New York. I'm seriously doubting these guys grew up together, hung out together. The reason that he's saying that that's his best friend is because Lord Jamar is on his platform, like, you know, once or twice a week, and they have business together. So what he's really saying is that they're basically business partners, and he's trying to wrap it in as being the best friend.
No, I don't mean to cut you off, and but I'm just saying he may be there, but they may be good friends. Like good white people, yeah. Very good. It's the same thing when they went into damn Africa with the Bible and stuff. You know, that's a military tactic. Well, that's a Trojan horse tactic. And this is why I always say this, and I'm gonna let you continue. Well, I don't worry about white folks individually. I worry about them when they group up. That's when my alarm bells come up. And white people are very good to go along, to get along. Like Bill Maher, for example, is a good example of this. They'll go along to get along until it's time to get grouped up with white people. And then they're like Mr. Smith, you know, the people in the Matrix where they turn into the agents instantly.
Right.
And they may be sincere in their friendship, but that thing is always in the background. And black people don't think long term like that. Anyway, sorry, man. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you actually helped me to my point, man. That's exactly what I was leading to. Like, man, when they group up, they'll sit there and get all that information, just like they got that information out of West Africa. And when they'll take it back and use it as a weapon. But part two is what I want to say is DJ Vlad is definitely a culture vulture. I would take it past that. I would actually say he's a liberal white supremacist at the same time. And I'm going to tell you why. If you really look at DJ Vlad's interviews, right, if you really break him down, he's very subtle in certain questions that he asks people. And a lot of people don't catch it. If you look at the way he interviews a rapper or a former West Coast gangster and the way he interviews somebody like a Jay Morrison or a Tariq Nasheed or a Dr. Umar, he almost challenges the brothers like Jay Morrison, the real estate guy, but he'll sit there and try to steer the youth into celebrating or being infatuated with the street shit. Like when he had Jay Morrison on there last week, he was basically challenging him about the Tulsa real estate fund. And I'm like, well, why would you challenge him on that? Because you see a black man in a suit talking about some business, talking about, you know, real estate and stocks and investing. You want to challenge him, but you'll get the real Rick Ross on there, and you'll ask him, well, how much money you was making a day? Well, how much coke did you sell? You know, it's just, man, you got to watch that. And another thing that touched me wrong about DJ Vlad, why is he bringing brothers' baby mamas on there? Like, see, brothers don't do shit like that. Ain't nobody gonna bring Nas' baby mama on there. You gonna bring the Tupac?
You did that for real?
Yeah, you gonna bring the Tupac rape victim on there, and everybody was giving him a thumbs down. So he does certain things.
He sneaks it in.
what you want to realize with Vlad is it's really all business. This is how he makes his money. He really don't give a fuck about the culture, in my opinion.
And this is how you get Vlad. People don't know this about Vlad. Vlad actually has business videos a lot like how Boyce Watkins has. Not as big of a scale, but he has a business like a teacher, like a Robert Kiyosaki thing.
Yeah,
Look at that, and then look at what he does there. Completely rush his people that bullshit because you know they not on that bullshit. And here's the thing I want to say, and I wish Super Slide was still on here because I'm really not trying to talk about him or anything like that. But I just want to point out in the same statement that he said he tried to give DJ Vlad a pass because that's essentially what he did. Is he said there's a system. He said DJ Vlad gets a pass, aka DJ Vlad is not a culture vulture because he's got a black friend, the professional black friend, right? But in the same statement, he also said there's a system in place to keep black people from doing what they need to do in order to get power distribution. So pretty much he doesn't understand. You got the front end of that system, which is guys like DJ Vlad, and then you got the back end of the system, which is where you take your gloves off when they actually gotten to the actual point of distribution. He doesn't understand how that is the same fucking loosely. And that's why I'm getting real passionate about that, because we got guys that'll say white supremacy don't exist, when in my mind, I'm thinking about every area of activity: economics, labor, law, sex, education, politics. I forget the other couple of ones, communication, media. And I'm understanding how there is a system in place for every single one of these areas of activity. I believe that comes from Nellie Fuller or Amos Wilson. I forget which one. And we got guys out here trying to say it ain't about that. Like Man of Tomorrow was very smart. Man of Tomorrow did not say the system did not exist. He said you have to recognize the environment, you have to recognize the minefield, and understand you have to play the ghost in the door and navigate through this stuff differently. That's what a lot of people don't hear, and that is very, very instrumental. Another thing I'm gonna say, and then I'm back off.
And before Edward, we're gonna let Xanatos Clutch talk after that because he hasn't spoken. He hasn't spoken in a long time. So go ahead and do that.
Yeah, and I'm gonna back off a little bit because I got chicken on the barbecue I want to eat. So,
all right, go ahead. So,
culture vultures are not just white people. It's not. You look, I respect everybody on the panel. I'm about to get my O'Shea African thing on. You got to watch these fucking Caribbeans too. You look at World Star Hip Hop, which is basically the Jerry Springer fucking Maury Povich show for black people. That was a Caribbean dude that came up with that. I respect his business hustle, but now white people own that, if I'm not mentioned. He pretty much put that World Star social media bullshit out there. That's like the king of that, Caribbean. You look at academics that always on some pseudo little, you gotta watch him suspect shit. He's Caribbean. I believe he's Jamaican. And when I say that, I'm not talking about just Caribbeans. I'm talking about these black immigrants in particular. They didn't grow up with our experience, so they have this I'm black but I'm other. You know, the nationality Negroes. I'm not black, I'm Jamaican. I'm not black, I'm Haitian. I'm not black, I'm Nigerian. These people operate a lot like DJ Vlad too. And black people let them come in on the Trojan horse bullshit because we assume white people fuck with them over there, so we got the same identity when they do the same thing Vlad does. Like, and that's why, I mentioned Cardi B. I said Cardi B is a culture vulture too. I got people telling me shit like genetics and if it walks like a duck, talk like a duck, it is a duck. As if because Cardi B acts ratchet, that means she's black. I'm like, wow, you're really saying that? And then on top of that, you got Cardi B using words like burnt bitch, roaches, and now she's got 24.9 fucking million Instagram followers, and that came off of black people initially. And you got black women that will support Cardi B because they want to be fucking light skinned, but they won't support Remy Ma, Kelly Rowland. Hell, they won't even support a Marilyn Negra. But they want to talk about fucking colorism. Shout out to Miss Schroeder. This is what I'm talking about. Anyway, I'm done. Sorry about that.
Straight gems, brother. Straight gems.
Let me do this. That kind of was controversial, so some people are disagreeing. You guys know, I am an African American nigga, so you know we are a little biased on this panel sometimes. But there are some brothers from the Caribbean that have some disagreements. So, guys, if you want to ask a question of those people, I see Casper, and we're not saying that Caribbean people don't have their own culture. Obviously, that you do. You know, we wouldn't take that away from anybody. But I think what it's saying is when Caribbeans want to come into the Black, like African American community, they can easily do it. Versus when if we were trying to do the same thing, it wouldn't be the door isn't it the door the welcome doesn't come both ways. You know, it's easier for let's say a Nigerian to come into our community or a Jamaican to come in our community than it is for us to come into y'all community. That's what we're saying. Yeah, an African American can't make any money off of anything in the Jamaican community. It's also what we're saying.
They know who I'm talking about. They probably got family and people in their family to talk shit about Black people. They better get the fuck out of here with that bullshit like they don't know what I'm talking about.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me do this real quick, Edward, because we gotta let people talk. So the one, he donated $10. The very same piece of shit individuals who engage in illegal activities on the corner are the same type of individuals who have infiltrated the music industry. Thank you so much. He donates again. The one they carry with them the very same type of destructive mentality into the industry. Thus, the artistry has suffered. Thank you again, brother, for the $10 super chat. Professor Marcus Love, who writes great articles on negromastery.com. Got to give him a one-on-one, man, this week. Dr. Francis Carson Welsing's book, ISIS, The Keys to Colors, Really Defines Racism, and How We Black People Can't Practice Institutional Racism. Thank you for the super chat. Maurice, Black people with the boogeyman complex, SMH. They won't let us do anything, insert anything here. Sauced Up Stokes, thank you, brother. 489 super chat. Pimp C wanted to unionize Southern rappers and he got killed for it. ABL is in the chat. You're more than welcome if you want to come on, ABL. Haitians, Jamaican, etc. We all get treated the same in New York. I would definitely agree to that. Pedro the IT man, what up, old boy? Good to see you guys. So let's do this. Let's go ahead, ABL. If you're wanting to come in, I see you in the chat room. Let's go to brother Exanathos Clutch. And I'm gonna take another breather, man. I'm trying to get my these ramen noodles, man, to clear up the sinus. So go ahead and say what you want to say, and then we'll go back to whoever was next. I don't know if it was Mana tomorrow, but you guys know what the order was. Go ahead, Clutch.
So on this tangent, and Edward, I hope you're not eating right now because I might make you spit out your chicken a bit. Maybe not as much as Anthony Bryan Logan will, but as far as the Jamaicans and Caribbeans and Africans not wanting to bite our culture, quite frankly, that's mostly our fault. And the reason why I say that is this. We, for the past, at very least 3 decades, have been embracing the worst kind of culture you can, which is the bottom of the barrel ghetto hood culture. And let's be honest, if we went in the same trajectory as we did in the 60s of having families, having their own businesses, being self-reliant, or at the very least just being respectful people. I'm not saying everyone is degenerate or whatever, but let's be honest, and I'm going to get to this rap stuff in a bit, but if we stuck in that same trajectory, instead of buying in to the negative stereotypes and the images, you would have all sorts of people, especially those who are Black in places like Caribbean and Africa, trying to claim us. Some of them will be saying that we're part American Black. I'm like, come on, dude. Especially the Latins. You know the Latins, the South Americans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans, Cubans. They'll be claiming to be part African. But no, we took the easy way. We took the fashionable way. We took the swag way, the jive way. And as a result, we have what we have today, which is degenerate rap culture, which leads to the second point I want to make. Everyone wants to say, well, this person's a vulture culture and other people are jocking on us because it's profitable, but when they group up or when they don't like to say... I'm not going to go in this way. But the reason why a lot of people, a lot of non-Blacks and even a lot of Caribbean and African Blacks get on Black culture or bite Black culture is because, one, we allow it. we usually invite those. And notice the kind of non-blacks that the black community invites. We will almost always invite someone who is either a bottom of the barrel kind of person or someone who is just outright mocking our culture. Which, to the question about DJ Flat, yes, he is a culture vulture. In the same way that certain other people, I dare say Eminem is a culture vulture as well, but who are the people who brought him in? Who are the people who gave him the rub? They couldn't just come out of nowhere and say, hey, look, man, just spit a bunch of bars, spit a bunch of beats, or invite a bunch of rappers on and say, hey, look, I'm part of the community, I'm part of the culture. We had a stake in it. We had a role to play in it. And notice how whites and other races, those who are economically viable, or at the very least, not in the bottom of the barrel, we call them racist. We call them white supremacists, or we call them opportunists. No. Don't let the whites and other groups who can bring something to us, and we can bring something back to them as part of a fair trade agreement. No, don't let them in. They're the opposition. They're the racists. But let these wiggers and these cash me outside girls and these woe ficky broads claim the black culture all they want. That's all good in the hood. And the other inverse way, I should say, in which we see it is, look at how we treat blacks who don't act culturally black, who don't ooze hip hop and rap.
True. Very true.
Anybody wants to respond to that?
Can I go on a few points, my gents? Y'all been touching on a few really dope topics, and I want to kind of holler at some of these notes I was putting down. Back a little while ago, you guys kind of talked about the idea of there being a ceiling as far as being able to elevate in the hip hop pop culture industry. I think it would be foolish and extremely irresponsible for us to not address the fact that there are handlers, there are people who are creating some types of barriers that certain people are going to be able to move past. It's ridiculous to think otherwise. And let's go to some numbers to illustrate this point. If I'm not mistaken, there's about 350 million, 400 million Americans, right? If somewhere around there, give or take. I saw a video just the other day that Drake put out that had 175 million views. So if we're going to put that in perspective, do you think that the entertainment industry, understanding what entertainment media, how that's actually mind control and influence, do you think they're going to leave that up to chance that some rapper could actually reach that many people? I say that to say there's clearly a system and there's handlers who are basically gatekeeping who gets shine and who gets to get out, because they would not leave that up to chance for somebody to have that much power and influence over young minds that could shape or sway elections. I mean, there's a lot of different points we got to really understand. So, I mean, there's definitely that. Now, it is insurmountable because we're not going to be able to beat their system. But hold on. ABL said in the comments earlier, blame everything on the white people. White people have done a lot of shit to fuck off the black plight, or to put it where it is. We know that's true. But I'm of the stance of, we know what they've done and what they're doing, but it's on us. What are we going to do to fix it? So that leads me to my next thing. You guys touched on, are we all in agreement here on the panel and in the chat that hip hop is essentially black culture to a certain degree, or at least they're intertwined in some sort of way? I think we can all agree with that. Yeah.
It's a part of it.
Okay. A part of it. That's a better way to say it. It's a part of it. So if we agree on that, as far as this is touching on the culture vulture topic, if hip hop is a part of black culture and we are unanimous on that, as far as black Americans here, descendants of slaves, like on that level, imagine myself walking down to Chinatown in downtown Oakland, where I live, and specifically trying to pick out different Chinese businesses or Chinese artists and bringing them on a show in saying my show is just going to highlight what's going on there in Chinatown. Would that not seem fucking ridiculous? I mean, just to put it in perspective, I don't know. I mean, culture vulture, I know some dudes who've grown up around black folks their whole life, been involved with hip hop shit their whole life, and who are eating off it. Should they not be able to eat off it? I know MCs here. This dude I did a video with, Prozac Turner. He came up, underground hip hop shit, out of the Bay Area, traveled around the world, now owns a bar. I did an interview with him, and he specifically said out of his own mouth, I'm a white dude. I'm a guest in hip hop. He straight up said that, and I give him big respect for that. He parlayed it over into a bar that he uses to host primarily straight underground hip hop events. Is he a culture vulture? I can't really say that. But imagine if on my platform, all I did was showcase talents and art from a bunch of Chinese folks. I'm not Chinese. Wouldn't that be seen as kind of funny style? Would I be a culture vulture? Interesting thing to think about. Another point I want to make, because I got to cut out because I got to get back to work. Off top, we need to declare this and all get unanimous on this. Hood culture is not black culture. Two different fucking things. You cannot say something is for the culture and related directly to trap or the dope game or being on a dope track or any kind of what you would call hood mentality, period, because that is not natural to the state of black folks. Now, if we want to talk about black folks being indigenous Americans or shipped over from Africa, either way you want to have it, if enslaved at some point, if we have been redlined in certain areas, oppressed in certain ways, in no way can we self-identify with hood culture as being black culture. Stop it. And then my next point beyond that is within the realms of all of this fuckery, the answer is real simple. In their system, we're not going to be able to beat them at their own game. We're not going to be able to get them to showcase us and highlight us in our best light. Why would they do that? They're making billions of dollars off of watching us coon around and buffoon around and be stupid as fuck, fight amongst each other, black man versus black woman, all the shit going on here on YouTube. I don't know if y'all saw that panel that Angel Ramirez Jordan set up. That was some of the craziest shit I've ever seen. Sinji, oh my God. I'm gonna do a video on that on my channel. We need to unplug from all of the fuckery that's misguiding us. We need to expose everybody putting out toxic messages, such as someone like a Sinji or anybody, you know what I mean? Not just call her out, but anybody pumping a bunch of negative bullshit. We need to take control of our own narrative by way of our own media. I propose that everybody just needs to disconnect from basically non-black owned mainstream media, period. I say that to some people and they're like, dude, you're out of your fucking mind. And I get it. We need an alternative first, because apparently telling black folks to disconnect from entertainment is like pitchforks and torches. They want to fucking burn you at the stake if you say that. Try separating black folks from their fucking precious entertainment. Oh my God. But then the same people will be like, we're under some kind of white supremacy system. I'm like, you realize that's one and the same thing, right? No, it's not like that. Get the fuck out of here. Alternatives. I am lucky enough to have been blessed with artistic talent. So I'm in a position where I literally make media and put this stuff out for a living, and in my own independent work, my own brand shit, On Street Looks. I really want y'all to check that out. Not that I'm trying to just hype my shit. It is a business. I do want to get it cracking, but it really is designed to be an alternative to this mainstream system that we don't own and control. That's it.
He dropped the mic, man. So listen, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up, man. I am sick as a fucking dog. I don't know what happened, man, but I want to shout out to Vincent Sullivan for following our super chat. Nigga, I'm over here. I don't know what it is, nigga. I got air. I don't know what the fuck is going on, nigga. But I have seen or something. Jesus is not happy with me tonight, nigga.
Man, take you out to bed.
Yeah, man. So it's 3:23. I got class in the morning. So I just really, I appreciate you brothers for carrying the show, man. Usually I'm able to participate more, but I'm on my third bowl of ramen noodles, man. And I appreciate the strong panel that carried tonight. I know you guys missed these type of shows. I'll have one every day this month. I got O'Shea Mania on my main channel, so I'm gonna try to drop 2 videos a day on my main channel. Also, we have the moderator award, so I can't wait to get the polls up so you guys can vote for your favorite moderators. Thank you, brothers, for carrying the show tonight, man. You guys all did an excellent job as usual. Thank you, Aaron, for joining us for the first time on the main panel. hopefully you come back now. Tomorrow we'll have a show. So guys, let's just start with everybody going from Clutch. Let everybody know who you are. We'll go to Mana tomorrow, and all that way. And I'm gonna take my ass. I'm gonna watch this X videos porn, man. And
Yeah, skip the X videos tonight, man.
yeah. Go ahead, guys. Go ahead, Clutch. Where everybody know they can find you, dog.
All right, so all of you who want to listen to the most whitewashed sounding black guy outside of Donovan Sharp, or just someone who has more of a moderate libertarian perspective when it comes to just issues in general, including race issues, or just issues of self-improvement, how to join the elite, go on ahead, check my channel. I thank you, O'Shea, for having me on here once again. Everyone else, thank you for putting in your input, whether I agree or disagree. And for everyone else out there, always bet on X.
All right, thank you, man. And Mana tomorrow, let them know, player.
I mean, once I own the name in April, because I already filed the name at the patent office, I'll be able to have a YouTube channel, and I'll be giving up my security clearance, so that way I could be able to talk about a lot of shit about 9 months from now. But other than that, I enjoy being on the panel, and I enjoy having these conversations. I like the disagreements, and I like when people challenge my thoughts, because I have to think about things a little bit differently whenever I do think about them, and that's why I'm here. So I'm never here to argue. I'm always here to gain a better understanding based on my limited, let's just call it worldview, even though it's pretty local. All right, so that's all I got to say. Thank y'all for coming.
Oh, okay. And Pedro, email me that. We'll do a show on that. It's a pretty good topic there. Let's go ahead to LAR movement.
I'm sorry, my phone died. So can I say something real quick and then get out and then make my spiel?
Go ahead,
I wanted to answer something that AM1 was saying, so I'm gonna say it like this: our music has become a vehicle to advertise dysfunction. It's not an art form anymore, and you notice this because you have black artists who may be young to old are going globally, being dysfunctional, 1, 2, 3 albums, and never thinking about to themselves like, I can't do this when I'm 50 going around saying how many niggas I'm gonna kill in the song. And in the old school reference, they would say a good song could last you for a couple years, but a good act could give you a career. That's why we don't have any more classic artists or songs anymore, because you can't play this. You look stupid as an adult playing this stuff that you jam on a daily basis once you hit a certain age. And we don't want to admit that we are ushering in people to be culture vultures, because just like that Kendrick Lamar situation, I understood that he wanted to say, look, you can't keep saying nigga, but you can't keep going on tour saying nigga either. You can't make another song and say, damn, this stadium full of white people, and I done went 7 nigga songs in a row.
100.
And this is why, if you think about it, if you go to concerts, the older you get, the more you go to concerts with artists who either don't cuss or edit themselves. So that being said, LAR movement, we still moving. Shout out to everybody on the panel. Salute to the Negro Manosphere. And that's my 2 cents.
All right. Let's go to Edward, Dr. Long-Winded.
Sorry, man. I kind of, I forgot to take my pills, so I went off the rails for a second. But with that said, I stand by what I said. Look, man, I got friends all over the world. And I'm probably one of the most multicultural people you'll ever meet. And I mean deadly serious. In fact, what's funny? I actually just picked up a couple. Not a couple. Well, yeah, there were a couple. I didn't even realize we got African clubs in Raleigh. And I picked this. It was like this club, this like plaza with nothing but black folks. And I'm like, damn, a lot of black people. And it turns out they were from Kenya. And we had a really, really good conversation. A lot of that is due to me reading Negro Manosphere, me listening to people like Dynas and stuff like that. So these conversations do matter, and it does impress a lot of people. Only thing that I was saying was, as African Americans, we have to understand that everybody does not fuck with us, including people that look like us. And just because people have the same experience, like white folks may have messed with them, don't mean that they go about it the same way. So from a strategic, what they call it, market share perspective, we got to be honest and say, look, man, we getting our asses beat, and that's black men's fault. DJ Vlad is black men's fault. And black men got to hold that damn L. That's all I'll say. With that said, if you like me talking shit, join me on Edward Anderson. Just type it in the search bar, and it'll pop up, and you can hear me run my mouth all day. I can run my mouth and put you to sleep.
Oh boy. Okay, and let's go to Aaron Ferris. Shout out to my brother Aaron, man. Thanks for it's your first time on here, man. Go ahead, let everybody know. And shout out to Erica Williams. All facts I share in the panel. Great panel. 90s to 2000 neo soul R&B is the best. Nothing section in the man. Listen to all types of music. What about Kirk Franklin mixtapes? All right, go ahead, Aaron.
First off, man, O'Shea, I appreciate you letting me come on here on the panel, man. Let me speak my mind. What we got here, guys, is something very powerful. Don't underestimate it, because at the end of the day, man, brothers, that we got. You know what I'm saying? And with us working with each other and learning how to build with each other and rebuilding our patriarchy, I think the sky's the limit. I truly believe that 50 black men can pretty much take over the world. I was telling a friend of mine a couple of days ago, I said, man, I'm not going to stop breathing until African-American men are the most powerful men in the world. I'm going to try to make it my point to, as a group of men, to over-exceed every other race group on the planet. And I believe we have the intelligence and the power to do that. The reason I know this is because we did it before. So that's all I had to say, man. Shout out to my channel. I'll be dropping a little history documentaries here and there. And that's it, man. That's all I got to say.
All right, brother. Well, we damn sure going to try. If we can't, we borrow the money from Anna tomorrow. Let's go ahead, AM1, man. Let them know where they can find you at, player.
Shout out to the panel. Shout out to O'Shea. O'Shea was a big motivator in helping me get my content out. I do a lot of shit here in Oakland, boots on the ground, events, event promotion. All Street Looks is the brand name, fashion streetwear. We're really getting it in on this media tip. Did a lot of coverage with the whole Barbecue Becky thing. Actually about to tap in with the two brothers. They following that story. They're really getting into some real stuff. Dropping a new nonprofit. The Bay Area, Oakland, it cracks out here. There's a lot of shit's going on. But yeah, All Street Looks. We getting it in, showing you all heart, all hustle. Rocking with a lot of musicians, a lot of artists. But more content coming on All Street Looks channel. Follow that, and on my AM1 channel, I'm gonna be talking shit and showing you really how I get down. I really love rocking with the brothers, talking about some real shit and hearing about everybody's business, tapping in, networking. Definitely network with me. I do motion graphics, media production. I'm definitely looking to link with the brothers online. Looking to do some collab work with O'Shea. We was talking about some stuff offline, and I definitely want to spark that conversation back up. Let's get to this media content. Let's own and control the shit.
Yeah, man, you know I'm down. I just want to say one thing, man. I thank you guys for all of you, and I've worked with everybody on the panel before. I made a video earlier today about keeping women out of the conversation. God damn, my eyes is red as blood, gang signs. But I just wanted to touch on that before we get off. I've heard these panels go left. I heard a show the other week. I won't say the person's name, and it was dudes on the panel, man. Right here in what you would call the black manosphere, and the dudes just arguing, talking over one another, going back and forth. And this was had to be about 5 or 6 days ago. It was really bad, And these shows are not perfect, but the one thing I can say about this show is there's no anybody getting out of line on no nigga shit over here, and it just makes me feel very, very good as an African American man. you know, when we have so many bad things, you know, being talked about us, that, you know, you brothers always come on and we can conduct this show in decent and in order. And this is, you know, we've done, I've done over 100 of these over the last 6 months, and there's never once been, you know, anybody getting yelled at or fuck you or shut up or nothing like that, you know. And it just makes me feel proud as an African American that you brothers can conduct yourself like this all the time with very different opinions. And you can express that without there's any ad hominems or you're stupid or you're dumb. And I really appreciate that. You know, I'm not the perfect person, you know, at all, but I just love the fact that, you know, every day that Black men can come to this particular, you know, channel or wherever channel that we're on, and we can really stick to the issue of what we're talking about without there being any problems. And you know, it just goes to show how potentially powerful that this is. You know, like a lot of people, I'm just like a hub for bringing Black men together. That's what I do. I mean, I'm a pretty good YouTuber, but I think my best gift is trying to bring different brothers together, you know, that they can meet and whatever and stuff like that. The only thing that I can hope for, you know, in the future is that we can just show people that, you know, Black men are not dumb. You know, we are not all crazy, and then we could agree to disagree. And man, tomorrow he's adamant about how he feels. Super Sly is very, very adamant about how he feels about certain things, and you never hear it get out of hand. And that's really what I'm just so proud of. So, guys, thank you for that. Thank you for carrying the show tonight. We'll be back on tomorrow with a good show. Check us out, negromanosphere.com. I want to thank everybody who's been I want to say one thing. And shout out to people who support, whether it's on Patreon or whether it's on Super Chat. We're close to breaking the top 100,000 blogs in the United States. Now, you guys might not think that means something, but they're like so many websites in the United States. Right now, we are ranked monthly in the United States 113,668. That's the highest we've ever been in the United States in Alexa. You know, top 500,000 worldwide. That's, you know, that's something we've done before. But you know, this small particular blog, it was started in September of 2016. It went live in November 2016, and we've never taken any AdSense money from that. We've just had, you know, the Patreon for a little under a year. And with the Patreon money, we're able to pay all the staff, all the writers and stuff, with the basically under $3,000 a month or about that. You know, we keep everything going on the site, and you guys can see it gets a lot of reads, it gets a lot of views. A lot of people like the stuff that we have. We have 4 free ebooks, and that's with just, you know, 500 or something. Some of my brothers pledging at least $5 a month. Some brothers pledging a little more than that. But so I'm just proud to see how this all is coming about. So thank you guys for supporting us. Thank you guys for coming on to the panel. Anything that anybody wants to say?
Yeah, me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, the reason why it works is because none of us is trying to be the most correct out of anybody else. We respect the platform, and we're just here trying to throw out ideas so that way we all, well, for me personally, I can't speak for anybody else. What I'm trying to do is gain a better understanding from points of view I've never heard before, or I never had access to. That's what I'm here for. Now, hopefully everybody else is here for the same thing. And that's why it works well. Like, you know, when you go to like these high level meetings at like the Pentagon and stuff, dude, there is nobody in that room who agrees with anything. And they don't have anywhere near this civil of conversation. So I'm just saying it's an accomplishment within itself. It need to be on cable TV so people can see this. So, I just like the work that we're being able to do here, and I can't wait to be able to get rid of the security clearance so that way I can talk a lot more about stuff. So.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I can't wait for that. So, again, anybody else want to say anything else? Anybody want to, you know, throw in anything else?
Just one more quick shout out. Just want to say what's up to the brothers. I know I'm like way newer on this whole thing, even fucking with O'Shea. I've been watching O'Shea for years, but seeing a lot of faces at LAR and checking you out. Real dope content. I mean, it's really dope being able to build with the brothers. O'Shea made a point with me on a stream we was doing a week or so ago about the idea of me being right here in Oakland, and he's lived in Oakland too, so he knows exactly how it gets down out here. The idea that you could be talking with some cats that's way around the world and be really building on some like-minded shit. In some ways, it's hard to do with folks that's right here in your own area. It's a kind of fucked up dichotomy in that way, but all things considered, it is still dope that we can get on and build with some intelligent brothers that's really looking to do some real work and have these kind of discussions. So again, I'm honored to be on here. Much thanks to all of the brothers here. This shit's a big inspiration for me to keep doing what I do. Peace, fam.
Shout out to Casper 78694. Just a little love for the super chat to the fan, brother O'Shea. That's funny. He actually came from Alpha Male Strategies channel, man. He started participating, and he's a moderator over here. So shout out to him, man. I think we all crazy about Casper over here. Let me just say this, man. Just real quick before we get out of here. It just goes to show you. Like we have a brother that's a filmmaker here. We got a brother that's a big time, trucking company owner. We got, brothers who are in, small media operations. It just goes to show that there's different type of brothers that you couldn't meet necessarily, let's say in your city all the time, but you can meet here on YouTube. So again, we're going to keep doing this. And again, let me just say this real quick to the people who support, what we are doing. It takes a lot for the brothers to. It's easy to earn women's respect. It's very hard to earn the respect of men, and I'm just glad to say that for most dudes who really fuck with what we're trying to do, people may not like it, but you cannot really say that this shit is a scam. You can't say that we don't put out the content every day. You can't say that we don't come to work every day to do what we need to do. I have a very good staff, and so I just want to really just say, the NegroManosphere.com turned out a lot better than what I thought it would turn out, even if it never gets any better than what it did. And that's because you guys have supported what we were trying to do so far. And it just goes to show that when you don't have a lot of corruption, you can do great things. Like the budget that we have is like kind of relatively small. And we still, we pay, we have everything that we're doing right now. So again, brothers, read the site. Check out, Edward's commentary, LAR movement, all the brothers that come through here, check them out. Edward did a great thing for me the other day when I was in Brazil a few weeks ago. He built a site for a brother because brothers was getting overcharged on tours. And so now if you're going to Rio de Janeiro, we could just hook you up with this brother, man, take you all across the city for little or nothing. And so that was
I still want to sponsor somebody to go.
Oh yeah, that was who. That's Edward. Edward, that's the one. He's the one that built the site.
Well, Edward need to talk to me after this is over there.
Okay. Where's Edward at? Oh yeah, Edward,
I'm here.
Yeah,
I had all my talking time, so I'm trying to be quiet. So I'll contact you after this.
Okay. So again, man, I just really thank you guys for. I'm really humbled, man, to be a part of this thing with you brothers. I don't know everything, and I have a lot of people who help me do stuff. So thank you guys again. We'll be on tomorrow. If there's anybody want anything else to say, you can go ahead and say it before I pass the fuck out and fall down.
That's it. Peace.
Oh, I know one thing.
Don't die, nigga.
Last thing, Brother Pill season 2 will be out.
Oh, Brother Pill coming back.
Brother Pill coming back. We're still trying to work on the calling thing, guys. It's gonna be me, Steve, not Steve, but me. Y'all got excited, huh? Me, Donovan, and LAR on the Brother Pill. All right, so that will be. We'll try to drop a new episode before the end of the month. So moderator awards this month. Thank you, moderators. 30 days of moderator mania. And guys, again, thank you so much for coming on. I'm getting the fuck up out of here. Peace.